stupid.
Yeah. So the stream has started. All right. Anybody in the stream, please let us know about our volumes. Dave's using his new mic. I've been using my new mic for a while. We're still adjusting volumes.
Dun, 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 dun.
I like how you wore the classic shirt, by the way.
Yeah,
Today.
I almost wore that one.
Did you?
I'm like, you know what? It's Star Wars Day. I'm gonna wear the classic.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that.
No.
Simple, effective.
Tight. Dude, I'm so fat right now. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, as soon as I stopped that diet and like started eating like normal,
Yeah, that's the thing I hear about those like low carb diets is, you know, if you break them, then like immediately you start.
Well, so there's this gradual process to come back, right? To adding carbs to your diet. Like Kathy's been doing it for ever, it feels like. Like it's so normal for her, like that's just how she eats.
Yeah.
Like for me, it never normalized. And going through all the stuff I was going through with the cholesterol and you needing high fat things in order to stay in ketosis, like her cholesterol's, you know,
Nice.
You know, knock on fake wood.
And we're back to that.
Right. Well, yeah, it always comes back to that. But yeah, for her, it's been brilliant. Like, but for me, it was just getting to be too much.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out how to
do the split screen thing on the Mac or on the.
Yeah, I gotta Google it real quick.
The pseudo Mac.
Honestly, it's probably better than a MacBook because I have the ability to use the pencil and draw and do that shit.
Yeah. And
it's pretty badass for like editing pictures and shit. Yeah, this little machine is not handling anything real very well.
Yeah. We got Big Lovin', we got Scott. Hello, gentlemen. And yeah, just keep us updated on the sounds of the volumes, new mics. And Dave's back in the studio. What?
What's keeping YouTube from being put on that screen?
So the problem with that is I'm recording the audio on this computer. Okay. I don't know if I start playing YouTube on there, if that's also going to mess up with the fucking audio.
It might make a feedback loop.
Yeah. So
I just need to bring in the other laptop. This one's just not.
Well, that's what happens when you spill a drink on it. You
know? It ran like this before I spilled a drink on it.
Yeah.
I gave it the Corona, is what happened.
Yeah. I hope Lunar Girl hops in because.
Well, she said she made a post yesterday saying that she might not be able to jump in anywhere because she's got Padawan shit to do.
Because I have some things to address.
What was I doing?
We got Tevin joining us again.
What up, Tevin?
Tevin from the place that has things, or it's
Bermuda.
Yeah, it's out there and
Bermuda or the Bahamas. It was Bermuda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Place with things.
Yeah.
Any Corona out there in Bermuda?
Yeah, that's a good question. We brought that up a few weeks ago, thinking it was going to be like a petri dish out there, but
split screen. It's right in your iPad. Yeah, whatever.
I haven't heard much about really any island territories or island nations. Really haven't heard anything about any of them being infected.
Puerto Rico. The only thing I heard about like Puerto Rico was they just had another fucking earthquake.
Really?
Like, Jesus Christ. How much more shit can you possibly try and handle?
Yeah, they can't catch a break down there. They're
well, you live in paradise. I guess that's what
that's the trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Constant disasters, hurricanes and fucking earthquakes.
Yeah, it's kind of
But hey, at least you're not an actual state, right?
Yeah, no. I think that's a little. That's probably a sensitive subject. I mean, you could
Oh,
probably,
I'm sure.
you could probably talk about like anything else except for that, and be okay.
Oh, trust me, no. I mean, and they would have a leg to stand on too. It's like, what the fuck, man? You're gonna take over our territory. You're gonna kind of annex us into your country, but no, we don't. We're not a real state. We have to be some little fucking side chick that you never actually bring to your house or anything else. So
Don't bring to any family gatherings or
Right.
anything like that. Just fucking. Oh god. All right, so I'm gonna have the YouTube open. All right, I'm gonna open that up. Cool. Now
there's been some cases.
that's good. Doesn't, as long as it's isolated.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
What's
doing.
Hawaii doing
I don't know.
with all the fucking tourists coming in and out of there from from the Asia side and from the U.S. like continental U.S.
Well, me personally, I think that our commander at the squadron I work at, he came back from Hawaii, a big exercise back in January. He had this fucking persistent cough, like bad.
Oh shit.
And he flew back commercial, like him and his wife. So his wife got real sick. Then he was sick. So we're like in meetings and shit with him before the corona shit really started.
Right.
And then like it was kind of like half joking, like, ha ha, hey, it's, maybe you got this thing. He's coughing in a fucking staff meeting. And I sit like this from him in the
Holy
staff meeting.
shit.
So it was like, yeah.
How long do the antibodies stay in your system?
I have no fucking clue, dude.
Because that would be something I'd be curious to see him like get a test for. It's like get tested for the antibodies to see if he had it.
I don't know that they know. I don't know that the latest things that I had read about it, it seemed like there wasn't they didn't really have a good handle on like how long it stayed in your system. Like
Right.
we know we have a relative idea of the gestation time, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. How to use slide over. Open an app. Swipe up from the bottom of the screen to open the dock.
He's learning how to use an iPad for the first time.
On the dock, touch and hold the second app you want to open, then drag it to the screen. Oh, on the dock. So like here, then I go like that, and then do this. No. Fuck you. No, that's all I want. Just want to stop it. Stop being so sensitive. That's what she said. All right. Woohoo! I did it. Sweet.
You're a fucking genius.
Something. All right. Let's play that.
I've almost finished my drink and we haven't even started yet.
Yeah. What, do you run out of root beer?
So, root beer is actually a pretty precious commodity in my house.
Nice.
Because I only get it when I go to the commissary, which is not very often. But I was just at the base last week, so I got a 12-pack of Diet A&W root beer, which like me and all my kids love, and yeah. So, but they're gone like really quick if we don't fucking tell the kids no.
No imbibing.
Yeah, like if you walk by my son Adam's desk right now, he's got 3 fucking empty root beer cans stacked up on top of each other.
Proudly,
So, yeah.
Yes. Look at what I have done.
Yep.
So we have this also. We have this. I am up.
You are good.
This is good. I'm not going to touch that again.
All right.
So I'm going to run the chat from here.
Okay.
That way I can interact. Like,
Okay. But you're gonna leave it up so I can see it, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not going to. Basically, this is set.
Okay.
So if you see me down like this, that's because I'm doing the chat.
Gotcha.
If I'm heads down, remember somebody's got to fly the airplane.
Face down, ass up. That's the way we like to. What?
Is that your buddy's theme song?
No. That was an old 2 Live Crew song.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hawaii's virus stats are 620 total cases, 73 hospitalized, and 73 deaths. Stats as of May the 3rd.
God damn, that's a 100% death rate for anybody hospitalized.
Well, I mean, currently hospitalized, and there were 73 deaths. Julius Calais. Do you think that the final of Clone Wars could have been better if they didn't make Rebels?
I think it. I think it just helped fill in the gaps. I don't think Rebels hurt the impact of this finale at all.
I'll tell you what I did want to do. You know what? We'll save it for when we get on. Get on there. That's good. That's good content. We haven't started yet.
Yeah.
This is the preamble.
Yeah. This is
the Dave fucking dicking around with this equipment to make it work. So, but we're set. We're good.
And yeah, I'm ready to start if you are.
I think so.
All right.
I've got things behind me. I've got this thing here. It's your toast.
I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. That's what they say.
C.
3PO. All right. We good?
Yeah. Hang on. Prop for later.
Okay.
There we go. Got it. All right. I'm good.
All right. 30 seconds of silence and we'll roll right into it starting now. To my brother Joseph.
To your brother Joseph.
My brother, he's been through, and he likes to be called Joe, but he'll always be Joseph to me. That's what I always called him when he was a kid. But he's been through a lot of bumps in this road that we call life. But he's really kind of stabilized lately. He's been doing really well out in California. He's really helping my mom out. He and I have been kind of reconnecting a lot lately. So, yeah, just wanted to give a shout out to him. What's up, Joe?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. So that being said, hello, everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. Joining me here, back in Starkiller Studios, each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Happy anniversary, yes.
Yes, cheers.
So yes, today is May the 4th, the 3-year anniversary of the All Things Star Wars podcast.
It's pretty amazing.
Yes, yes it is.
3 fucking years.
Yeah, and in this 3 years, we've barely missed a week. I think every once in a while, we've had to miss something for school or whatnot, but for the most part, new episode every single week for 3 fucking years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations to Star Wars for having things for us to say.
Yeah.
And we got to make sure that we get to that. Say hello to Ivo G. Hey, people, one listener from Bulgaria, and I finally caught you on the live stream. Want to thank you guys for doing this amazing podcast in times of a global pandemic. Stay safe.
Thanks, Ivo. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Cheers to you.
And cheers to him.
In Bulgaria. Jason and I have been to Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Or at least I know I have.
Yeah. No, I've been there.
I've been to Sofia and oh shit, where's the damn that coastal right on the Black Sea.
Oh god,
fuck.
I know what you're talking about. It's been so long. It's
been a minute.
Yeah, it's all blending together.
Yeah, I would love to go to Bulgaria on my own time. There's some beautiful areas that you see in like tourist videos and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Not the parts that we saw.
Of course, yeah.
Of
we
course
never
not.
see the good
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. But well, that's it's not necessarily true. But anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, before we get into all the anniversary shit and everything else, what are we talking about this week? Besides just ourselves and our 3-year anniversary.
And our amazing listeners who have another one. I don't want to miss out on these listeners that are getting to dial in from the Netherlands. Julius Kale, who brought up a question earlier about the finale to Clone Wars that we'll get to.
Yep.
But you asked what we're doing. We're doing the finale of the Clone Wars.
That's right.
See, look at that segue. It was supernatural.
Yes, very good. Yeah, so Clone Wars is over. The final episode aired
drink that?
Today, eventually. The final episode aired today. And we haven't actually talked about the last 3 episodes. So we're going to cover all 3 as we go along. So hopefully we can kind of get to that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because we like to do things awkwardly. And what would be more awkward than doing the first of 4 and then do all 3 right after that?
Right.
So that's how we do it. That's how we do it here at the All Things Star Wars podcast.
That's our thing. That's what we do. So, before...
Burgess. Bulgaria.
Okay.
That's where that's the place.
I know. It's again, you talk about awkward and
Hey,
terrible
look,
segues.
look, listen. This is the stream of consciousness that just does not come through when we're doing this remotely.
Right. Yeah. So this
How
is
could I
this is what
possibly
we missed.
How could I possibly interrupt you quite as much?
Yeah. Squirrel. All right. So we got some Podbelly stuff to talk about. So what you got, Dave?
I'm going to read this because otherwise I'll fuck it up. Okay, we need your help with a promotion we are running for the month of May for all you listeners. The promotion is, drum roll, may the pork be with you. I didn't write this. I didn't come up with this. But it is May the 4th. May the pork be with you. Podbelly is, the logo is a pig. It's very fetching. It's a very fetching pig.
Co-created by my very good friend Brent from California, a guy I've known since middle school.
Yes. And we, as in the Podbelly gang, Brent, are giving away I Love Bacon stickers featuring Kevin the Pig. That's who this guy is.
Yes.
Kevin the Pig. Who I didn't know his name was Kevin until just now. Giving away I Love Bacon stickers featuring Kevin the Pig for free with free shipping. Do not post coupon code on social media. The only way to get the free sticker is by listening to one of your podcasts.
We're one of them.
And hearing a coupon code. We are the #1 podcast on Podbelly. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The Sofa King guys can eat a dick. They think they're all cool and shit, but honestly, we're the first ones on the fucking page, motherfuckers. So just because you created some shit and have a lot of followers and, have a really kick-ass fucking podcast, so what? We're #1 on the fucking page, bitches. So, anyway, feel free to begin announcing your episode free I Love Bacon sticker by visiting podbelly.com/shop and using discount code Kevin the Pig. While supplies last, 200 stickers total. Not this sticker. I just grabbed this sticker because it's a Podbelly sticker. I'm sure this is available for sale, though.
Yeah.
Use the code Kevin the Pig while supplies last. 200 stickers total will be given out. Limit 1 sticker per person. And if you're going into the store and you can leave a note, tell them that the All Things Star Wars podcast sent you because, quite frankly, I don't know who pimps the fucking Podbelly better than we do.
We've got to be the top.
We are the #1 pimper of the Podbelly.
Fucking right.
And Kevin fucking owes us.
Yeah.
Honestly. So fucking get on there. Use the Kevin the Pig on podbelly.com/shop and you will do it.
Yes, and you will do it. Make the sacrifice. So, big shout out to all of our patrons: Tony Ferrari, Camille Donovan, Nick Jackson, Frederick Martin, Big Lovin', Scott Rasmussen, Tactical Swede, Don Solsky, Shotgun Mark, and Avery Morgan. You guys are the best. You're the reason why we do this, and you are the reason why we are both now, if you're watching on the YouTube, using our brand new microphones.
Yeah,
microphone stands.
We have our sporty microphones.
Yes. Hopefully it sounds better now.
Well, I think mine sounded fine before. I think the sound issues were on the other side of the table.
Obviously.
Just inside 6 feet, but we're okay. We're good. There's just about that level of separation.
Yep. So Kristen asked me today what we were talking about, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing the Clone Wars. We're doing the season and the series finale of the Clone Wars. I'm like, yeah, no more episodes after this. So she's like, oh, so you're never going to talk about Clone Wars again? I'm like, yeah, probably not. She's like, fucking finally, shit. She hates the Clone Wars.
That's why she's excited.
Yeah,
that's not what I was expecting.
She's very excited because we're allegedly after this, we're not going to talk much more about the Clone Wars. So you're welcome, I guess.
Well, it's a fair point. Mm-hmm. It's a fair point because there's a lot of Clone Wars. There's a lot of episodes. We've kind of shotgun through a lot of those episodes by covering, the Nerdist. These are the episodes to watch list.
Yeah, the essential episodes. Which I'm glad we did that because everything in that was relevant.
I would agree. It was definitely good to do. We probably should have started with that as opposed to started with fucking suffering through those original episodes.
Yeah.
But we digress.
Yes.
But to be fair, I think these, without all that, without the Clone Wars existence, like the existence of this fucking particular animated series, we don't get this 4-episode ending. Like, right. I really feel like we're jumping the gun on the fucking topic, right? But I really feel like it's one of those. I'm answering that. What? It's one of those things where, Clone Wars, the series started as a like, hey, it was just one off, right? Here's a DVD. Here's some really goofy animation. Wasn't CG. And it just like it didn't have the feeling of Clone Wars even when they started the new series. So then it started a new series and got through some nonsense, but now it's finishing with something that if you put that on a DVD, you put these last 4 episodes, 3 of which we're going to talk about today. If you put those on a DVD and sell it, that's fucking brilliant right there. I mean, that's 80 minutes of really, really good fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, and you even know it when you watch the intro to all of these, which we talked about it when we talked about that 9th episode, how it starts with the Lucasfilm logo and it starts like a fucking movie because shit's about to get real.
It's fucking crazy. And even, well, we're jumping the gun. We haven't even talked about our weeks yet. Like here I am fucking allowing this to go off the fucking rails. So let's
all right, we'll bring it
Kristen back. This may be the conclusion of the Clone Wars. However, I think this was must-see TV.
It was. So we kind of skipped the 3-year anniversary thing. You know, we've been through a lot in these last 3 years. Like massive life changes. Fucking now we can add COVID-19 to the list of shit that we had to go through during the course of this podcast.
And it's not even over. It's not even over yet.
Yeah. And, me going down south for a year
and
us recording remotely.
That's what we're calling it now.
Ladies. But, yeah, no.
Down into the jungle.
Yes. So, derailed.
She'd get a trim, honestly.
I can't with you. This is what I get when you're back in the studio.
Yep, this is exactly what you get.
But yeah,
and then you make the studio 95 fucking degrees.
Well, that's part of my week, so we'll get into it. But yeah, it's been a crazy 3 years, and it's weird to think that it's already been that long.
It is.
I still remember us having those brainstorming sessions in fucking March and April of 2017. As we're, trying to plan this out, can we actually have enough content to go weekly?
Yeah, that was legitimately a concern.
Yeah,
the concern was like, can we do can we be entertaining every week just solely on Star Wars content? Now, obviously, based on how this format is, we bullshit a lot for the first fucking 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, that's part of our shtick. It's what we do, and if you don't like it, then nah.
And we've had people complain. We've gotten shitty reviews on iTunes because of that. Because they took an hour and a half just to get to the main topic. And
well, that's what we do.
Yeah,
this is the All Things Star Wars podcast, and all things just happens to be things that happen in our present day, as opposed to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, we give you guys these windows into our personal lives, and I'm sure our wives absolutely love that.
Listen, Star Wars is pivotal to just my existence and probably to yours as well. That's why we're doing this. And it would be pivotal even without doing a Star Wars podcast. It's one of those things where it's such a part of the fabric of what we are as our personalities and everything else. So
we got a new review. So
sweet. So I will read it.
We can do that later.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah, it's interwoven itself into our lives.
Gone. Lost my fucking train of thought.
No, you're talking about how integral it's been to both of our lives at this point. Because we got to set aside time every week to make sure we get this done.
I mean, it's one of those. It's not to use something cliched, but one of those labors of love.
Yeah.
We get to come on the air, talk to however many people decide they want to listen, in whatever format they want to listen to, and get to be entertained by us talking about something that we love. I mean, honestly, it's made it really easy to do this. It's made it really easy to put that time aside. I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been like, oh man, I gotta do the fucking podcast. No, it's more like, let me put these other things aside so I can fucking get the podcast done. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the recipe for success for those guys that are out there that are starting their podcast, like our friends at the All Things, the ATSW Escape Pod. You have Used and Abused pod that started after we have started. You've got our YouTube content providers that are also out there doing things like Keith Lehman and Layman's Terms. You've got Helmet Fire, who gave us a gift that we have to open. Don't forget.
Okay.
He's got original content. You got Big Swede, who all these content creators that are following us and following our little Star Wars adventure for 3 fucking years, and it's been great. And cheers to all of you for following along.
Yeah, because honestly, without the following that we've had, I don't know if we'd still be doing this. Like, if we didn't have this core dedicated group of listeners that listened to us and supported us every week.
The cantina and the level of interaction that we get in the chat every week. And we got people from Bulgaria and from the Netherlands and Bermuda.
Yep.
All these people. It's fucking great. And I'm so glad that, especially during this time, right, with the pandemic and everything else, if we can entertain everyone for a little bit, then fucking great.
Yep.
But it's a labor of love. There's no, I mean, honestly, there's no reason for me to be like, life shit happens. We always end up finding a way to fucking make sure we have content out there. So, yeah, it's awesome. And guess what this machine is doing, by the way?
What?
It's downloading a fucking Windows 10 update.
Oof.
Fuck you, Windows. Jesus Christ. Can I just fucking open the goddamn machine and let it fucking do things? Like, do things that you open up a computer for. This computer, it basically exists to run Windows. It can barely do anything else. It can only run Windows.
It seems like it can barely run Windows at this point.
It's barely running Windows.
Wow.
Legitimately, okay, it's Dell. I'm a Dell guy. I like Dell.
They used to be good.
They used to be good, honestly. But now we're in this. They build this Chromebook knockoff that it's got Windows 10 on it, and you can't do anything else with it. Because literally, that's the only thing that's on this machine is Windows 10.
Yeah.
And you see what it's doing. So.
Oh, I do.
Fuck you.
The burping, the Dave burping is still like a constant subject in my house, by the way. So
I'm trying to do it more often. I'm equating it to the same level as snaps. Like, if you want to contribute to our Patreon to get me to do some more Rick and Morty style, like Rick style burping while I'm talking, then yes, I will do my best.
Nice. So today's May the 4th. Obviously, this has become Star Wars Day. The thing I wanted to throw out with this is we've been talking about it already, but yes, Rise of Skywalker is now out on Disney Plus, so you have no reason not to fucking go and watch it 12 times in a row.
Yeah.
As you should. The video game companies are all doing sales on Star Wars games right now, like everything on PC, Steam, GOG, Origin has sales on Star Wars games. Like, if you want to play Battlefront, the 2015 Battlefront for PC, it's like $3 right now on Origin. I'm considering buying it. Like, I've never played it on PC.
Just have it on PC?
Yeah, $3. Yeah. But anyway, and then Xbox is doing a sale also. And the biggest thing that I'm noticing from this is Jedi Fallen Order. I'm seeing it on sale for around $35-ish. So if you haven't played it now, or up to this point, $35, it's a long game. Like, there's a lot of value in it. As far as like playing through the storyline,
right? There's
no DLC and there's no multiplayer, but for a solo game, it's pretty fucking long because I never finished it. But anyway, so this is definitely...
You're talking about like to completion, like you're like you beat the game. Did you ever beat the game?
I didn't.
Oh,
if you go back and listen to our Fallen Order review, I had not beaten the game at that point, and all I did was watch the cinematics.
Oh, that's right.
To get
that's
the story.
Right.
So.
That's right. I assume that I did not, like, because usually that's me. I'm usually the Cliff Notes guy. Jason's the completionist. Yeah. That's why he has more kids than I do.
Oh, God.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So that being said, did you see Daisy Ridley's video? A lot of people are posting...
I shared it on my page on my Facebook. Yeah,
I saw it on Instagram today.
Like, Daisy, you were fucking you're Rey, air quote, Skywalker, right? Get a good lightsaber. She's got like a fucking Kmart.
Yeah, with the
Listen, there are no lightsabers near us that are less quality.
Right. It's like one of those guys that are
Yeah,
hanging up.
yeah.
That's,
Like
Yeah.
she should have the tits
Oh,
of
yeah.
fucking lightsabers.
She should have like those fucking $250 gimmicks from fucking Galaxy's Edge, the new build your own lightsabers.
Hers should fucking it should be some not safe for work fucking Star Wars shit that she can do with hers.
Yeah.
Instead, it's got some fucking look. And you know what? Here's the thing. Here we go. I am fine with it. Like it's there used to be a time in my life when I would have been like, why? Like this is something to get mad about. Like
What, just May the 4th in general?
No. Like
Or Daisy Ridley having a cheap ass.
Yeah,
toy
Daisy
saber.
Ridley, who's a representative of fucking Star Wars. She's like right now. There's going to be a generation of Star Wars fans that this is the sequel trilogy is their generation of Star Wars.
Right. She'll be their Luke.
Rebels
basically.
and everything else.
She'll be to them what Luke is to us.
Perhaps one can only hope. You would hope that they have something like that they can fucking be into, right?
Sure.
But there would be a part of me that was like, okay, you're doing a disservice by having a cheap toy. But you know what the reality is? The reality is that some people, that's what they have.
Yeah.
They have a cheap toy. And the fact that it's Star Wars and they can fucking enjoy it, that's the best part. Mm-hmm. And so when I initially saw that, it did. I went and was like, really? That's the fucking lightsaber you have? And then when I thought about it a little bit longer, I'm like, because I watched the video a couple times, and I was like, you know what? It's actually kind of cool. It's cool that she has an older fucking lightsaber that it's something that you would have. Like kids are gonna have this fucking collapsible lightsaber. Mm-hmm. No special effects, no nothing, just fucking Daisy Ridley with a goddamn lightsaber.
Yeah.
And being cute because that's what she is. She's fucking super cute, and she's doing her thing. And it's not something to get mad about. I mean, and I know, and I'm glad. It makes me happy. It makes me happy when Star Wars can make somebody else happy. And I think that's what that is like, hey, this isn't Star Wars elitism. Like, we don't have Ultra Sabers that we're fucking knocking around with fucking, the best shit ever. Like, even us with the, our multiple dollar lightsabers here. That's what kids can afford, and fucking great.
Yeah.
Well, have at it.
Agreed. So, moving on. You want to jump into our weeks?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll get started. So, I put in here the great outdoors. The schizophrenic fucking New Jersey weather seems to slowly be, like, the curve is starting to flatten a little bit. So we're starting to stabilize. It's been more warm days, sunny, than, like, cold, dreary days. They're still mixing some of those in every once in a while, but fuck, man. In the times of this pandemic and everything else, it is nice to just step outside into the fucking sun a little bit when it's actually warm outside. And I've been, enjoying even things like mowing the fucking lawn. Like, I spent 3 days, like, doing my front and backyard that's been overgrown for God knows how long.
Did you put on a pair of, like, white sneakers with, like, white, like, knee-high socks?
No, I wore these exact flip-flops. But anyway.
I'm saying there's, like, these atypical dad fucking, like, videos where, like, oh, this is what dad looks like when he goes out to mow the lawn.
Right.
But, yeah, it's fucking, yeah.
Yeah, and I just fucking am just enjoying this warm weather. And it's so nice. It's so nice to just step outside for longer than a few minutes without feeling uncomfortable. And the shame of it all is the fact that we're immediately going to go from this just nice, just even, just good, decently warm spring weather to immediately it's going to start getting fucking humid in a week or two. And then we're going to have to start running the fucking AC. There's that window is very small here where it goes from just like, oh, this is perfect weather to, it's too fucking hot.
Well, even like there's a frontal system moving in right now that's going to bring some rain, and it's going to, like, the high is going to be like in the 60s, so then it'll be getting into the 40s at night.
Yeah.
I'll still take the 60s as opposed to the fucking, like, if I'm outside at fucking noon and it's still 40 degrees, there's a problem.
Right, yeah. And that's what we've had off and on for the last month. Even during this pandemic, even as the weather's slowly warming up, we still have too many of those fucking days mixed in. That just makes it shitty. But yeah, man, it's been great just getting outside and everything else. Speaking of which, I have a bone to pick with both you and Lunar Girl.
Okay.
So, I don't believe for a second that all these fucking pictures that you two are taking and you put them on Instagram and they look like fucking professional. There's no way you're taking those with your fucking phones. You guys have to have some sort of a super secret fucking pinky swear app that you guys use that has like crazy filters that makes all your fucking iPhone pictures look good, because every time I take a goddamn picture outside, it looks like shit. When people were taking all these pictures when we were having those fucking super moons a couple months ago, and the moon was big and bright, and like people like you would take a picture and you could see the fucking craters, and I would take it and it would look like that. You know, like the fucking light. It's like, come on, there's no fucking way you were taking it with the exact same kind of phone that I have. Or worse, there have been times when you've had worse phones than me, and you're taking far better pictures. I'm like, no. There's got to be some super secret fucking photograph society where you guys are buying some kind of crazy app and you're not telling anybody about it. You're like, no, it's just my normal camera.
So, you know that I am a amateur photographer, right? So I have camera equipment that is far better than my iPhone.
All right.
And when I post, in fairness, when I post something that I've taken with my iPhone, I usually hashtag it with the iPhone. But if I'm using my Canon 90D, then I hashtag it with that. But here's the reality, right? Photography, like good photography, is about like framing the shot, and then you take it and say, okay, I'm gonna put it into software like Lightroom, right? Like my latest post was I took a sunset picture with the dog there, like framed up a bunch of shots, and went into Lightroom and made the fucking, dulled the sun down, but brought the color out on the bottom using the histogram. So you manipulate the lighting of the picture so that like things that would have all been dark, I can make this lighter, but yet maintain this level of darkness. So yes, there is a magic app.
I knew it! Called
Lightroom. But I mean, in fairness, like, and I would say this to anybody who's out there, like amateur photographers that are out there. Your phone, if you have an iPhone 7 or better, like
I've got an 8 Plus.
Yeah, so you finally fucking moved out of the fucking 6 Plus range, because you were on the 6 Plus forever.
Yeah.
And anything better than an iPhone 7 has a good enough camera where are you going to get crater shots of the moon? No, you're not. I mean, but you can change the aperture setting on your phone so that you can get a little less light through. That's going to make a better picture of the moon, but you're not going to get the zoom. Like I've got a kit lens on the 90D that goes to 135 millimeters. That's going to bring the moon that much closer.
Yeah.
And I have a 300 millimeter that I can do even closer. But that's my thing. It's one of my collection of hobbies is photography. Yeah. So yes, there is magic.
Yes.
There is magic that's happening. And feel free to follow PhillyDave75 on Instagram, and you can see the pictures that I post. Most of them are of my dog in some form or fashion.
Sure.
It's my dog in sunsets. It's my dog, taking a nap. It's my dog. Basically, it should not be PhillyDave75. It should be Holly Ray. Holly Ray is the tits on fucking Instagram.
Yeah, and Lunar Girl does the same thing. She posts a lot of nature shots and stuff, like really, really good pictures on Instagram. It just makes me jealous because I can't take good pictures like that. So.
It's an eye that can be taught, but it's something that I was fortunate where I grew up in a house where photography was something that was part. Like my parents were both photographers.
Yeah, you mentioned having a dark room and everything else.
Yeah, so. I grew up in a dark room. I grew up understanding what it meant to like light is everything, and I am a sunlight guy, and we'll get to it when we talk about my week.
All right, so I just got one more other thing to talk about. We've kind of joked about the whole 12 Monkeys thing. I think I brought the movie up a couple of weeks ago. And refresh my memory, have you seen 12 Monkeys?
I have not.
Great fucking movie. Great fucking movie. So I saw there was a news article about it, like how the original writers for the movie just recently came out in an interview, and they're like, "No, man, we had no fucking idea like this shit could like really happen, with a virus wiping out a lot of the population and all this other stuff," which obviously that's an exaggerated version of what's going on right now. But anyway, given the times, they brought it up. So it got me thinking, like, fuck, I want to see if this movie's streaming somewhere. So I'm looking in everything we have a subscription to, like fucking Amazon Prime. I'm looking in Hulu. They didn't have the movie, but I completely forgot that they started, Sci-Fi started doing a 12 Monkeys TV series.
Really?
Yeah, and I never watched it. Really had no interest at the time. But I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Let's pull it up because I couldn't find the movie anywhere. 5 minutes into the first episode, I'm fucking in.
Really?
Like, I'm already like, I like where this is going. I'm in. I've watched the first 2 episodes now, but I always love time travel stories in general. Going back to the fucking Back to the Future, right? Fucking love those
Spoiler
movies
alert,
so
I had
much.
no idea time travel was involved in this.
In 12 Monkeys?
Yeah, I've never seen the movie.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not a spoiler. So
right, fair
that's known right from the get-go. And it's known in like the first minute of the fucking TV show.
Do you know what I associate 12 Monkeys with?
What?
Brad Pitt.
Well, obviously.
That's it. That's like, if you said 12 Monkeys, I could only say Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And it was they filmed it in Philly.
Yeah, yeah. And he got an Oscar nod. That was his first Oscar nomination.
Did he
for that
really?
movie. Yeah,
Okay.
for supporting actor.
Maybe I should see it.
It's good, man. Fucking crazy soundtrack. I own the soundtrack somewhere. I've still got the CD. But yeah, great flick. But yeah, I forgot that there was a TV series, and I started watching it, and I'm really enjoying it. So
Nice.
I guess they did 4 seasons of it. So
Really?
Yeah.
God, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, started back in 2015.
I am so fucking like not TV show enabled.
I'm
with so
typically
much
the
shit.
same way, God, there's so many things that I haven't seen. Haven't seen Breaking Bad. Haven't seen name any fucking popular show, and I probably
Sopranos.
haven't seen Sopranos. If it's not fucking Dexter, Lost, Game of Thrones, or something Star Wars related,
fairness,
I've never seen it.
In fairness, you were involved in Lost to a point that was almost a Star Wars level.
Yeah,
Like you had figurines on your desk
Hell yeah.
related to Lost.
Yeah.
Which I watched the first 3 episodes. Here's my problem with Lost, right? Just a short sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
Like my problem with a show like Lost is the plane crash. Like it lost me at the plane crash, and after that, it's like, nah, fuck that. That's not right. As I sit in yet another fucking class as I finish my fucking schooling with talking about airplane crashes, because that's all I do is write papers about airplane crashes.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, fuck that bullshit. Bullshit. I can't, I won't watch that Denzel Washington movie where he fucking does inverts a fucking DC-9. Yeah, no, dude, sorry. Sorry.
Fair enough. And I can understand why.
So and that loses me, and it's a suspension of disbelief that if you don't do that for me in the very beginning, then you don't have me.
Right.
And unfortunately, Lost is one of those movies, and Game of Thrones, which you were obsessed with, also, and for good reason. A lot of people like that show. I didn't get into it because there's, ironically, it's good. Dave, the guy with all the fucking sex points, right? Obviously, I am the leader of sex points right now in the fucking when it comes to the All Things Star Wars podcast. There was too much TNA in the very beginning. It was like it took away from the show. Like I'm trying to watch it as a fucking
get those breasts off the screen. I can know.
Stop
this
fucking
is wrong.
Stop fucking your sister. Stop fucking your sister for 5 minutes and watch the kid fall out the window. Like and it lost me there. So it's tough for me. It's tough for me to get into a series. It's so silly, but that's like truth. That is the absolute truth. Like watching the first couple episodes of Game of Thrones, I was like,
wow.
It's like,
Okay,
it just didn't engage me.
Yeah,
just didn't engage me.
all right.
You'd have an easier time I'd have an easier time watching plane crashes.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, that's it for my week, though. So what do you got?
So let me give a shout out to my Uncle Fred and Aunt Debbie. That is their, I don't know the number, the wedding anniversary. Shit, I should know that.
Are we in we're definitely in double digits, right?
Double digit. Oh yeah.
20s, 30s.
So this is Patreon supporter Frederick Martin. This is his parents.
Oh, okay.
It is their wedding anniversary on May the 4th. So
Nice.
and they're huge nerds. I say that with all the love in the world. Like my Uncle Fred is single-handedly introduced me to a lot of different sci-fi material that I was able to get into. So
Didn't
very
you
cool.
say you saw Empire with him?
I did. It was a drive-through.
theaters? Yeah. Okay.
So
Drive-in. Drive-through is where you order food.
drive-ins. Yes. Well, there's hardly any. Oh, everything is drive-through now. We need ice.
That is true. I can summon some more.
We need.
I will conjure some more
ice. Please.
The magic
I will not
of-
summon. I will just ask, please.
Through the magic of SMS texting.
Yes, IVOG, stay to the end. Have a beer and stay to the end. The coupon code is Kevin the Pig, all one word. The fucking people are listening to the podcast going, what the fuck? What? Anyway, happy anniversary, Uncle Fred and Aunt Debbie. Aunt Debbie, who we've talked about before, is a breast cancer survivor.
Nice.
So awesome. And other than that good stuff, work school cycle continues. Mm-hmm. I have a problem right now with finishing. That's what she said. It's not unfortunate, honestly. It really comes down to I just mentally not had, like, I'll sit down to write. I've got all these papers due, right? I got 2 weeks left of my last semester of college before my capstone, and all I got to do is fucking get to the end. All I got to do is I'm staggering to the finish line. I'm sitting there staring at fucking papers. I've read Jason, in the past 10 days, I've read 300 plus pages of different airplane accidents. And to the level of, like, okay, this piece of metal caused this fucking this stress fracture, which caused this and that, blah 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 blah. And of course, it's all a bunch of fucking DC-10s too, because I'm like,
naturally,
well, I'm in a fucking KC-10 squadron, I might as well fucking read about the airplane, right?
Right.
I am learning a lot about the systems. Unfortunately, I'm learning about them failing and killing people.
Yeah.
However,
which seemed to happen a lot back in the day.
Yeah, it had some problems.
Which is why McDonnell Douglas is no longer a thing.
It's one of the reasons. But yeah, fact is, the latest airplane crash, the one I'm writing a paper on that was due yesterday, and I'm still not done. Reasons. But yeah, that particular accident was the Flight 191. The airplane fucking the engine separated from the aircraft, the number one engine, and it went 112 degrees of fucking bank into the fucking. Do you remember?
That's the one where they have
pictures.
Yeah, the pictures. There's no video, but there's a picture of it.
There's a picture of the fucking airplane with missing the engine, with the fucking vapor truck coming out. Yes. Yeah. And hyper analyzing this fucking accident. So I'm on page 6 of 10 to 12, writing a case study about it. Everybody died. Horrific. But a lot of good stuff comes out of those things, and that's awesome.
That was the fucking one where it all started because of engine changes.
Yep.
They weren't doing proper engine changes.
Yes.
They were fucking ramming them up, and they were breaking the fucking structure on top of the engine. Yeah, I remember seeing that. I think it was the air crash investigation show.
Yeah,
they covered that pretty in depth.
Yeah, it was a this is not the accident investigation channel. The All Things Star Wars podcast.
It's part of our lives.
But they were using a forklift. The problem was they had.
Thank you.
Hola. Welcome. Hello.
I'm taking this first. There we go. And there's some.
Thanks.
Too much for you. Yeah. So what happened was there was a service bulletin that came out that said, oh, okay, we got to take the engine off and replace these bearings, right, in the pylon, where the pylon meets the fucking wing.
Yep.
Well, American Airlines and a couple other airlines in their wisdom were like, hey, you know what? It fucking takes too long because they got to take the motor off, then we got to take the pylon off. So why don't we just take the motor and pylon off all in one piece? Yeah. So they did that, and the procedure they wrote up, like, they're basically counting on a forklift to fucking make these micro, like, less than 1/10 of an inch fucking movements to be able to get up and line up in a Clovis that's fucking, like, so you're lining something up to line like this with a fucking forklift with 14,376 pounds of fucking engine and pylon on it. Bad things are going to happen. So what they did is they had issues with this fucking forklift. It was a shift change and all these human factors that enter into it. And then, a few hundred cycles later, like they did the engine change March 29th to 30th of 1979. And then May 25th of 1979, the fucking airplane on rotation, fucking boop, engine flies off the wing, literally flies off the wing, and it creates a level of asymmetric thrust, because at the time the DC-10 did not have anything keeping the outboard leading edge slats from retracting, which means that Those slats retracted, which means now I have more aerodynamics. It's a higher speed aerodynamic stall on that wing, but not on the right wing. Boom!
Yep.
And everybody dies. Now, it's not like that anymore. Fact is, they don't. The MD-10, there is an MD-10, but the MD-11, the DC-10, KC-10, all those airplanes, they have, because this accident happened, a lot of good things came from it. They were able to identify things that it created legislation within the FAA to make sure that certain things happen. Anyway, this has been my life. This has been my life, fucking writing about airplane accidents and operations management, and trying to make all that fucking shit work. So anyway, long story short, nothing to do with Star Wars, but the work school cycle is nearly complete. I just need to fucking get to the end. I'm staggering to the fucking finish line. I have been getting outside. That's been part of the problem, is mentally, if I see the sun shining out there, I'm like, I might not have another 72-degree fucking day to go outside and enjoy it.
Right.
I got to go outside and fucking and do something, fucking clean up dog shit.
Right. It's like I said, like mowing the lawn. I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, typically, it's like a chore. It's like, I got to go mow the lawn. No, I was enjoying like the whole process.
Temperatures have been really, really nice, and it's spring and it's happening, and it's good to fucking get outside and get vitamin D. It's all good for us. I'm solar powered, man. I run a lot better on the sun. So, been doing that. Here's supposed to have been weird, and I drove up to the base today to go to work, right? Started my new job, the whole fucking shooting match, right? But I'm scared that this is, like, there's a level of normality to what's going on right now that, so we're humans, right? So we're going to adjust to whatever environment that we're in, right?
Sure.
You put us into a colder environment, then we're going to develop ways to make ourselves warmer, and we're going to sustain ourselves in those environments. Like, as human beings, we are very, very adaptable environmentally to at least whatever the Earth has.
Right.
So the problem is that with this pandemic and with the social distancing and everything else, which is super, super important, people need to be doing it. But habitually, we are, like, if we're not getting, like, we were getting shot at, imagine this, right? If you were getting shot at for fucking 4 weeks nonstop, at some point you get used to the bullets.
Like
and that's
Israel.
Right. That's a great example.
Yeah.
That is a great example of a country that is so used to being under fire that it's part of their normality. And that's where we're going to be with this fucking virus. Like, social distancing still needs to happen. Fucking schools are closed for the rest of the fucking year.
Yeah, we just
in New
got
Jersey.
that call this morning.
So nobody's going back to school. Like, I feel bad for the seniors this year that aren't going to be able to fucking have normal graduations and everything else. And it's,
see, I don't know. Going back to when I was in high school, if this had happened, I'd have been like, fucking great. I don't give a shit. But I digress.
Yeah, my senior year was a little bit different. It would have affected me my senior year if it had been my fucking freshman or sophomore year. Then I would have been okay with it, I guess. But whatever. Social psychology notwithstanding, we are in an arena where the normality is starting to, like, this stress is now becoming the norm. And I say that because we just had a really super cool, the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds did a flyover on Tuesday. This was a few days ago, last week. And I was like, I've been like super, like, I'm staying in fucking house, it's social distancing and everything else. I'm like, you know what? This is a singular occurrence. Like, I don't know when I'm ever going to be able to see the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels fly together in like this. And I'm a huge aviation nerd.
No,
picture Star Wars and then fucking, like, back it up like half a tick, and then there's fucking my aviation nerdness, right? So I'm like, I have to go down there. So I went down to Wiggins Park, which is in Camden, New Jersey, which is scary in and of itself. Google Camden, New Jersey, right? But, you know, on the waterfront is actually really nice. Fucking, you know, concert venues and fucking aquarium, a whole fucking shoot match. I went down there thinking that, like, all right, I'm going to be down there with my camera and everything else. Like, I had this whole elaborate fucking, like, thing built up to justify me being there.
Sure.
Like, I figured, like, I'm going to be in the spot. The cop's going to come up and harass me. I'm going to be, hey, look, here's my thing. I'm with this unit, blah, 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 blah. And that way I could be there and fucking take the pictures of the Philly overflight.
Yeah.
There were probably upwards of 1,000 people down there.
Yeah, it was a nice day, too, because it was like, wasn't that like the first nice day in a while?
It was the first nice day in a while, and they actually, because originally it was supposed to be on Monday. And they slid it to the right, which fucks our schedule big time, like as the tanker unit, right?
Yeah.
But so they slid to the right to the nicer, what they forecast was the nicer weather. Ended up being fucking perfect. I went down there an hour and 15 minutes early. Like, I'm familiar with the area, so I knew where to park. I was like, okay, this is where I'm going to park. This is what I'm going to do. And I literally went down there thinking that the place is going to be on lockdown. This is how I'm going to bullshit my way down to fucking be able to take these pictures.
Right.
I did not expect to be surrounded by 1,000 people. I really didn't. And the police department, like, because the park was closed, they wouldn't let anybody congregate on the grass. They're like, on their little fucking the mall cop, Paul Blart Segways. Yeah, they're on their fucking Segways going, like, enforcing social distancing to make sure people are wearing masks and shit.
Yeah.
Which 98% of the people were wearing masks, and everyone generally was like, I had my space. I was right up against the waters, and people, like, I had the space around me. But there was a lot of fucking people down there.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me about this, like, this new normal, is that we've been under fire for so long that this is now the normal. So what is going to make people understand that, like, this, like, when it gets worse, it's going to be fucking to the 10th degree worse. And that's kind of scares me. Like, I'm scared of this being the new normal because I hate it. Yeah. I don't, working from home and doing everything else is fucking fine, but there's for me individually, like, my mental health standpoint is like, this is not normal. Like, I'm not cool with any of this.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a sword of Damocles that's constantly fucking hovering over my head. And I want things desperately to go back to normal, but this is, I anticipate for the next few months, this is going to be normal. This is going to, like, you're going to the beach, trying to do shit. Like, we're prepping our house for, like, hey, this is going to be a staycation summer. Like, we're make sure our backyard is going to be fucking fun, and we're going to be comfortable and do shit like that.
I mean, I'd like to think that by the end of the summer, things will be almost back to normal, but I don't know. Honestly, I'm no fucking doctor. I don't know what the real stats are at this point. When, some of these states in the South, like, instruct their fucking hospitals, you will not report fucking COVID death numbers anymore. That really has you scratching your fucking head.
If that's even real.
If it is real,
it's.
I mean, I've seen it in several different spots. I think it was Florida was like the big one that was allegedly doing that. But either way, I don't know, man.
The new normal, that's my thing. It's like we're here. Everything seems like pretty much normal, but we're not out of the woods yet.
No.
So everybody fucking keep the faith out there.
Yeah.
And do your thing. I didn't want to dwell on that, but there's some good shit in the chat, like good Star Wars related shit in the chat, and I really want to make sure that we don't fucking lose it.
Well, then what I think we should do is I think we should take a quick break.
I had a feeling you were going to need to.
And, then get into our main topic, which is 3 episodes of the Clone Wars. And you can kind of sift through some of those comments.
I hope you have a lot of notes, because
I got this.
Thank God.
So, all right. So that being said, we're going to take a very quick break.
He didn't hold up the peace sign.
And be right back.
Ruiner of things.
After this word from our sponsors. I don't know why I put my glass up.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. So, shout out to to our friends at the Escape Pod. They have a peace sign, which is fucking great. They have Brady, who I managed to log in a couple episodes because I was in class and I was fucking bored because the guy doing a lecture, I'm used to multiple inputs and I needed another input for that particular class. So hopefully he's not watching. If he is, sorry, Doc. But yeah, so I'm watching and Brady had to pee so early in the episode. It was great. It threw everything fucking off. There you go. See, Escape Pod's in the fucking chat right now. Yeah, it's just a fucking. I just thought it was fucking funny because it's a thing. It's a real thing. Like, you're sitting here, you're doing this for more than an hour, and you're imbibing. And yeah, nature calls. It's a real fucking thing. So thankfully, we've got it built into our habit pattern that when the sign goes up, then we're by God, we're gonna fucking do it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Should I squeeze one out?
Might as well.
Yeah.
This way we don't have to interrupt anymore at this.
Yeah.
One break and good.
Oh my God. Ow. So old.
Dave's dying.
Ow. It hurts. Everything hurts. Ooh, it's so nice.
So I noticed as Dave was talking, the thing I showed him on my phone is we got a new 5-star review back in April. So we're terrible because we totally missed it. So we're going to read that today at some point, maybe at the end of the show. Let me see if I can get caught up on the chat real quick here. Lightsabers to stop. Sliding. Oh yeah, they did that a couple of times, Julius, when she used her lightsabers to fucking dig in to keep herself from sliding back. I think she did that at least twice.
Had to pay more than I thought. Take this. Need that. We gotta do this.
Oh yeah. Do it back from the break. How about we do that? We do the 5-star review, then we jump in.
Yeah, that works.
Cool. Do you need me to bring it up or the 5-star review?
Yes. I'll read it from your thing because it would be too much of a dick dance for me to try and bring it up.
Are we good?
Yep.
All right. Let's do another 30 seconds of silence and then we'll roll into it. Starting.
Oh my God! Look at how fat I am.
now. And we're back. So, before we get into our main topic, we have 2 more things that we need to get to that we kind of forgot about before we did our weeks. One is, what you got there?
So, Chad Vickers, who is Helmet Fire on YouTube, he is a content creator, a fledgling content creator, but he's got good stuff. He's a fan of the show, and he gave us this gift. So, he said... He told me that, hey, I could open this beforehand, but I'm like, no, I'm going to really, really behave myself and not fucking open it. So
you have no idea what's in there?
I have no idea what's in here.
Okay.
And it says right on here, it says Dave Martin, ATSW Pod, guest Jason 2.
Oh, well, I appreciate it.
All right. Oh, this is more of a 150 thing. Oh, look at this. Motherfucker.
What is it?
There you go. You take a look and show everybody.
I've seen ads for these. They are the Star Wars playing card decks. You've got your blue and your red. I've seen ads for these on fucking like Instagram and Facebook.
All right.
Let's see if I can get these up close.
So Vickers sent us his pack that he has opened so that we can see them without breaking the integrity of the fucking things.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
That's some thoughtful fucking shit right there. Go subscribe to Helmet Fire on fucking YouTube. And,
Is that all it is? Just called Helmet Fire?
Yeah, Helmet Fire.
Nice.
Following some likes. Ooh, these are nice. It's got a little Star Wars, and it's fucking Star Wars. Oh, look at who Joker is! It's Dio! Oh, it's fucking great. Leia is the queen. Oh, these are fucking...
Why not Amidala? Because Leia's a princess. Whatever.
Well, the king looks like Kenobi.
Hello there.
Han Solo's the Jack. Then it's got normal shit. The fucking ace. Look at that. Look at the ace of spades. It's got a little TIE fighter in there. That's awesome. Oh, Palpatine's the king of fucking...
Yes!
Oh, that's not spades. That's clubs. Sorry. King of clubs is fucking Palps. Mon Mothma is fucking queen. You got fucking Kylo.
That's the Jack.
That's
nice.
the Jack. Let's see what else we got. We got We got Lando as a Jack in the fucking diamonds.
What would he say?
It's a dynamite taste. I thought you were gonna finish that sentence. You got Rey as the Queen of Diamonds,
Let me see Rey.
Yeah, Rey doing her thing,
Nice,
being cute.
Yeah.
And then we got Luke. We got old Luke as the King of Diamonds.
Ah, sweet.
Then we got the Slave One as the Ace of Diamonds. That's fucking cool.
Awesome.
And let's see.
There's got to be a Padme as a queen.
Well, we've got Boba Fett as the Jack of Spades.
Nice.
Got Padme as the Queen of Spades.
There we go. You knew we had to have her. And Vader was the king.
Vader's the King of Spades.
Fucking awesome.
This makes me want to play some fucking spades
I was just
now.
gonna say that. Yeah, we need to find 2 more people and play some spades.
Yeah, Ace of Spades. Look the detail on this. This is what's fucking cool. The
X-wing.
You see what's
So
you got the X-wing, and with Yoda raising the X-wing out of the swamp in Dagobah.
I don't know if you're going to see this on the video, but
very fucking cool.
Yoda,
thank you so much to
at the bottom there.
To Chad Vickers.
I thought you were going to say Chad Vader for a second there.
I was going to say Chad Vader. There's the other Joker's fucking BB-8.
Nice.
The Ace of Hearts is the Millennium Falcon. Very, very cool.
The cards feel really good too.
They do. They're good. They're legit. They're legit. Fucking. You could easily play poker with these cards.
Yeah.
They're legit playing cards. So, let me make sure I'm not missing anything. There was a piece of paper.
Oh, I put it back in the box.
Oh, all right. Let me make sure. May the fourth be with you, and happy 150th. So it's a little bit early, but this makes sure that we actually get to it, because the 150th episode is going to be so fucking busy.
Indeed.
So I'm going to give these back to you.
Okay.
So that we can keep them for safe.
Yeah, they're going to go on display somewhere over here.
Yeah, and I'm going to put this in here with my wallet so I can get back to Chad.
All right.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. Thanks, Chad. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, so the Escape Pod asked you guys to play spades down there. I learned how to play spades when I was a kid working at Philly International Airport. I was one of the few white kids that worked as a baggage handler.
Yeah.
So the way I learned to play spades, I learned like I was a fucking kid growing up in fucking the middle of Alabama.
Right.
It is a intense. When you played spades when I was at the airport, right? Mm-hmm. It was. If you were a sandbagger, you're fixing to get your ass beat. It was one of those things where if you were constantly fucking doing it, somebody's gonna jump across the fucking table and take a swing at you. Wow. Spades was a serious fucking business when I worked at the airport. Well, so I learned to be really, really fucking good at it.
Yeah. I was maintenance in the military. Went on a lot of deployments, and that was one of the big things that people played with spades. Mm-hmm. So that's where I learned. I knew how to play hearts leading up to that because...
Oh, dude. Hearts is for fucking 5-year-old girls.
Right, but you got to start somewhere because you get the basic concepts with that. And we had networked computers at my high school. This is in 1993. We had network computers that were running Windows 3.1 or whatever that had hearts on there, and we were able to play a networked game of hearts on our fucking little land there at my high school.
It is.
So-
I learned how to play spades before I knew hearts existed, because I didn't know hearts existed.
Yeah.
And I learned to play spades like when you had a fucking trump card, you fucking got up, you wham, you fucking threw that fucking thing down, put your balls on it. It was fucking legit. Like it was a fucking thing.
I believe it.
I just threw my fucking hip out. Oh my god.
That's what you
Oh
get.
my god, getting
So,
old sucks.
one more thing before we get into our main topic. We got a new 5-star review
Woo!
that came in on April 7th. So we are terrible podcast hosts.
This is a relatively new 5-star review.
Yeah.
All right.
Because we were begging for him for a while, and we didn't get him for the longest time, so we kind of gave up.
So this is from Jeff Dock. He writes, awesome Star Wars pod. Gives us 5 stars. Amazing Star Wars pod. Been listening for about 4 years since the Russo show appearance. This is the best Star Wars pod. Go Niners.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Jeff. Much appreciated.
So Jeff, I can applaud you for half of your decisions. At least 2/3 of your decisions, because I don't have anything to say about wrestling one way or the other. But
that's how we got Scott too. Was my appearance on the Vince Russo show.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
And I didn't even know about Jeff. Jeff's never reached out to us or anything else on social
That's
media.
awesome.
So.
Jeff, I hope you're listening right now. Reach out to us on social media some sort of way. Get into the cantina, because that's where all the fun's at.
Yep.
And fucking let your voice be heard.
Yep.
And IvoG says, what the hell is a spades game?
Ooh.
It doesn't surprise me that there's not spades in Bulgaria. But along those same lines, in Bulgaria, I'm sure you play chess, right? Playing chess at the airport, same thing. Same level of like, if you like the... It was the most animated form of chess playing ever. Like, I grew as a kid, like all my uncles, my dad, like they all play chess, and it was all very like sitting with your fingers steepled like this and staring at the board, looking at your fuck up and seeing how you're gonna fucking manipulate it. You know, this fucking 35-year-old man about to destroy a child playing fucking playing chess. But that's how you learn, right?
Yeah.
That's how you fucking learn. So when I was a very ethereal chess player, and when I got to the airport and they found out I played chess, I'm like, okay, fuck yeah, all right, we're gonna play chess. And I would sit there, and I would win, but I'd win like this, like the emperor, fucking sitting behind the desk, and they fucking hated it because when they would do shit, they would be like, fuck. I mean, it would be like throwing a fucking trump card in spades. I'm like, this is fucking chess, man.
Yeah.
Fucking have a fucking seat. You're knocking the pieces all over the place. I watched a dude. This is no bullshit. No fucking bullshit. I watched a dude go lose a chess game, right? He lost a chess game. And fucking, we were in an airplane. We're in an L-1011. It was an ATA L-1011. I will never fucking forget this day. And one of the things we used to do, the military flights would come in, and when they were doing the transition, they were dragging their bags off and fucking going through the customs area, and then we had to put the bags back on. Well, we cleaned the plane in between. So we're busting our ass trying to fucking get this plane cleaned up, which fuckers on the deployment flights, stop being such fucking disgusting pigs. Anyway, we're cleaning the fucking plane, and these two dudes are arguing, right? They're arguing across a fucking L-1011, which is like the size of a DC-10, which it's, 343. Think of the aisles. Like, so KC-10, same size.
Yeah.
And they're arguing. Motherfucker, like, got to a point, and this dude was an ex-Marine, Vietnam era ex-Marine, so it probably goes to a lot to what happened, but the dude fucking started climbing across the tops of the fucking chairs in the fucking, think airline seats, and he's spider monkeying it across the top of the fucking chairs, gets to the dude and starts gnawing on him, like starts biting his fucking
Like
ear.
Mike Tyson?
Like Mike Tyson style fucking biting this fucking dude. We're like, holy fuck! And we're in the jet going like, no, I don't want anything to fucking do with this. I want anything to fucking do with it. And then a couple other dudes like broke him up. But yeah, this dude spider monkeyed over fucking chess.
Is that what? And that's what the argument was about.
That was the argument. It was about fucking the chess game. And holy fucking shit, dude. Like that was me working at Philadelphia International Airport. It was periods of boredom tied with fucking extreme chess and fucking spades playing.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
Sounds great. So, all right. Finally going to get to our main topic. The last 3 episodes of Season 7 of The Clone Wars. Holy shit. What a way to fucking finish off this season. What a way to finish off this series. These 3 episodes were basically what I've wanted for this whole season.
Dude.
Of The Clone Wars. You know, I don't know why they felt the need to, you know, fill us with fucking, you know, Bad Batch and Lesbian Sisters for 8 fucking episodes.
It's good to hear you fucking degrade the Bad Batch.
I mean,
finally.
Again, the first episode was fine. The first episode was entertaining. Didn't need 3 more episodes after that. Anyway, finally we get to the good shit. We talked about episode 9 already, which was basically Ahsoka, clones, and the Mandos going on Mandalore invasion, trying to take it back over from Maul. It ended with, you know, Ahsoka running in the sewers, getting pinned down by Maul and his fucking Mando troops.
Right.
That's where this first episode, the episode 10, picks up. The Phantom Apprentice, which is a great name, by the way. So,
and did you notice, like, I'm pretty sure with episode 10, yeah, no narrator.
Yeah, no voice.
No voiceover. They did it with 9, which was surprising.
Yeah.
Because it came after the Clone Wars, the LucasArts, like, all that stuff came up. I will continue to say LucasArts for no other reason than just that's the penguin that lives in my brain.
Yeah.
You didn't get any, like, you got all that stuff really just kind of, like, you had this serious tone.
Yeah.
Like, the imbibing of the serious tone right from the fucking beginning. The narrator was muted, but it was there. And that was it. Episode 10, nothing.
Yeah, no more narration from here on out.
Yeah, it just goes into... Somebody had put in a fucking... in the cantina. I'm pretty sure it was in the cantina, because the best Star Wars fans are obviously in our fucking cantina.
Of course.
And somebody mentioned, like, a very Blade Runner, like, style. Like soundtrack to this thing, because it was so...
Well...
So fucking dark.
I mean, we'll really talk about that when we get to episode 11.
Yeah.
Episode 11 especially. Like, I'm going to say this right now. That was my favorite episode of any episode of the Clone Wars ever. Like, even more than the one that aired today, episode 12. So, we'll get there. Real quick, just kind of recapping episode 10. This was a lot of lightsaber battles, a lot of Ahsoka versus Maul, and it kind of... The whole centerpiece of this is Maul sort of alluding to his former master's great plan. Right? He says straight up, like, I wasn't completely privy to all the details, but I know that he had this master plan to destroy the Jedi, and it feels like this is all about to start. You know, he even goes off on Ahsoka, like, the Republic is dead, the Jedi are fucking done. This is before, you know, Order 66 or anything.
Right, and the dark side has never been stronger. Like, what I thought was really, really cool is you got this element of Maul that it was almost like he was swimming in the dark side.
Yeah.
Like, where he was swimming in this, like, heavy, like, river of the dark side and not really knowing, like, where it was come from or, like, where he needed to go.
Right.
But he was so it was almost overwhelming, I think, to him as a character, where it's like, the dark side has never been fucking stronger. I have no idea what my place in this is. Because by rights, he should not be alive.
Right.
You know, Palpatine, once he was fucking, you know, half Maul.
Yeah.
Like, Palpatine was like, yeah, fuck half Maul, and you know, I can't imagine him getting magic legs and fucking come all the way back to fucking bother me some more. But
Darth Maul, you got magic legs.
He got magic legs.
So, yeah, and he, through a bunch of back and forth with him and Ahsoka, he reveals to her that Anakin is the heir apparent to Sidious's apprentice, right? He says verbatim that he's been groomed for this fucking position up to this point. And it's fucking crazy if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's something we all know. Right? Yeah. We see it. We have the benefit of hindsight because we've seen it in the movies. We've seen it in episode 2, episode 3. We see how Palpatine interacts with Anakin, and we ultimately see the turnover and everything else. It still has so much weight in this episode because it's like, validation is not the right word, but it's just that you really feel like, holy fuck, like this is outside acknowledgement of, we already know this, but now we're seeing it from a different perspective. And I think that perspective is fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah. No, Maul was great in this episode. And Ahsoka actually, she doesn't 100% disbelieve him, but she's also like, your vision might be fucked up, But at the same time, she wants to warn Anakin. Like, over the next couple episodes, she tries to get in contact with him. But when it comes to her, like, potentially telling Yoda, Mace Windu with it, she's like, I'll tell Anakin when I see him.
Dude, how... This is kind of encompassing all of the episodes, but how strong in the Force is Ahsoka that, like, she stands there, and what I think they do really, really well in these next 3 episodes is they show Ahsoka, like, it goes from, even with the fucking lesbian sisters, it's showing her as almost like a wayward teenager, right? Like somebody who's like whose youthful exuberance is like overrides their common sense.
Right.
Whereas in these episodes, each one, it physically shows her aging.
Yeah.
Like there's a physical, like there's a difference between what she looks like in episode 10 to what it closes with.
Right, yeah. That last shot of her
Right.
at the end of episode 12
is way closer to what we see in Rebels.
Yep.
And we'll get back to Julius's comment when we talk about Rebels.
Yeah.
Here it gets into the last episode. But I really think when you looked at Ahsoka in these episodes, the gravity of her abilities in the Force. And you have to wonder, like, this is... Like, is there that divergence in the Force that made kind of like the Kylo Ren and Rey, like Anakin finding Ahsoka, and it's kind of downplayed, or maybe to us it's downplayed. Hardcore Clone Wars people out there are probably like, "Oh my god, it was so obvious." Right? Whatever. But like the fact that Ahsoka, who is so strong in the Force, being drawn to Anakin, who is the chosen one. And being that Padawan, seeing the things that she's fucking doing here, making these split-second decisions, like, okay, she doesn't have the burden of being a fucking Jedi.
Right.
Like, when she's encountered Maul, like, and as we get into episode 11, like, when she encounters Maul, it's like, she doesn't bear the fucking shackles of having to be a fucking Jedi to make these goddamn decisions. And you see her, she makes it like, yeah, okay, I think that spoiler alert, I think that joining with you, yeah, that's going to be the way. However, you got to answer me this. You got to riddle me this, right? So my whole fucking point in that diatribe was like, I can't believe how fucking strong Ahsoka is in the Force.
Yeah.
Like the things that she does in the Force with this.
Yeah, even at the end of this episode when she basically bests Maul, she outfights him, but we had
The fucking shit that she does with like
fucking
sugar. Oh my god, it was fucking. It was so good.
She's great, and you mentioned there's a lot of parallels at least in this one episode to like the Rey Kylo Ren dynamic. A lot of like Maul saying "join me," reaching out the hand and everything, and her being tempted by that, and there's no way that's a fucking coincidence.
Yeah, it comes down to individuals, right? You live in this world where the Jedi are like a thing. Like, here's the Jedi here. But ultimately it comes down to these individuals that make decisions that affect everything.
Yeah.
And you see it's pinpointed here with these episodes.
Yeah. Now, the thing that I fucking love about all of this stuff, and I've said it before, I said it when we did episode 9, was the fact that now this is running in parallel with the events of Revenge of the Sith. We get our first taste of that early on in this episode when they get a transmission from fucking Obi-Wan. And, or no, I think that was actually episode 11. Going back to my notes.
Episode 10 finished with Ahsoka in the sewers with Maul.
Okay,
so
yeah.
we're the meat and potatoes of all this is getting to where we are here with episode 11.
Right. No. Episode 10 was...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That was where they were fighting. That was where she captures Maul at the end.
Right. Yeah, see, I'm confused because we're doing 3 episodes and we started with 1.
Yeah, okay. No, it was this episode 10. She has a communication with Obi-Wan, right? And she's like, Maul mentioned this Darth Sidious. Like, who the fuck is that? And Obi-Wan's like, well, Count Dooku mentioned that to me recently, but any chance of getting that info from him are over because he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka's like, what? He's like, yeah, Anakin killed him as we were rescuing the Chancellor.
And what was awesome about that is, like, I visualized putting this pin, like, boom! Here we are in the timeline. Here it is right here.
And you get several moments like that throughout the course of this, which is fucking great. That's what I wanted. This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
All of these tie-ins.
Show us where we are running. We're running in this timeline parallel to what we know is happening in the fucking movies. And boom, here it is. Like, yep, fucking Dooku's headless. Yeah. Like, so here we are in this fucking portion of this. So, and it makes the fucking dialogue with her and Obi-Wan that much fucking more poignant.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could see Obi-Wan and you could see the torment on him. Because he knows, he has to know at some point that it's going to come down to him and Anakin.
Yeah.
Like, at some point. Regardless of Padme, regardless of fucking Ashoka, or however the fucking you want to spell her name.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that iTunes, like, your iPhone wants to autocorrect Ahsoka like every single time to Ashoka?
Yeah.
Every fucking time. It's really annoying.
It took me so long to finally figure out how to spell her fucking name, and now I don't need my iPhone trying to get me to change it.
Yeah, Nick and I, Big Swede and I, were like texting back and forth today. Which, sidebar, fucking, there's some good shit out there in the world of pops that I need to spend some of my allowance on, because there's some good shit out there that just fucking has to, like fucking Moff Gideon with the fucking Darksaber. Ooh, yes.
Wow.
Like, swing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we've only just begun to see that story.
Oh, God, it's going to be so fucking good.
Yep. Anyway.
But we digress.
Yes. So, like I said, the end of this episode ended with a badass battle between Ahsoka and Maul, which, by the way, Ray Park did motion capture for Maul for these episodes. So, when you're watching this and you're like, man, he really does move like the way Darth Maul moved in fucking The Phantom Menace, that's because the actor Ray Park did the mocap.
Yeah, the fact that fucking Ray Park was involved in this, like, I know Big Sweet's a huge Darth Maul guy, right? Yeah. He is all about
the tattoo.
He's got fucking everything. He's hugely into it. Like, it's the same thing. You're like, this fight sequence, the fact that they could do this in this animation style and make it look so fucking real and so good, like, it went up a level. It made things in my world as a Star Wars fan. It made things available that I didn't know existed because of that level of just. We have the battle. Fast forward to Rebels, right, where you have Ahsoka with fucking Vader, and you have that battle.
Yeah, which I want to go back and rewatch that now.
Yeah, I immediately want to do that after I fucking finish the series, right? I just didn't have time. Yeah. But that doesn't compare to what we saw. Right. Like that lightsaber battle, what we saw with Maul, and the performance of Ahsoka, like, just, again, this is why the Sith the way to go, right? there is no peace, only passion. Yeah. Right. So, and she's fighting with none of the bonds that the Jedi have.
Right. It's like you said, she's unshackled from the Jedi. So
Shackled.
She may not be a Sith, but she doesn't have to conform to the fucking mindless, way of the Jedi.
And let's get some white lightsabers later.
Yeah.
But future
stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, it ends with her capturing Maul, and really the clones and the Mandalorians essentially retaking Mandalore for the most part, with some outliers here and there, but
yeah. And
this, I guess, foreshadows what happens to Mandalore after the Empire, because the clones are there. They now have the Republic, which is soon to be the Empire, has a presence on Mandalore, and they just don't fucking leave at this point. So
I guess, I mean, where's this is Dave, no bullshit, as he sits here right now with his fucking Alzheimer's brain with bourbon mixed on it. Mm-hmm. We don't know the full story about Mandalore, right? I mean,
there are some gaps. Like in the current canon, there are a lot of gaps that we're not sure of between Clone Wars and Rebels. There's a lot, which we get some hints in Rebels.
Yeah, in Rebels.
I feel like I need to go back and rewatch now. And then, obviously, there's huge gaps between Rebels and The Mandalorian. Because at this point in The Mandalorian, they've fucked off from the planet altogether.
And see, therein lies the problem, because this is where in Legacy, where we have... in Legends material, where we have so many... we have such a good idea of what happens on Mandalore.
Yes.
And it's so not what's going on right now. So there's these huge gaps in Mandalore, which, how about we tell that fucking story? How about Cassian Andor can go fucking eat a bag of dicks, and we go talk about what's going on Mandalore? Can we do that?
I'd rather do that.
I would much rather do that.
And I gotta say, man, I say this every time we have Mandalorians on in whatever form, be it Clone Wars, fucking Rebels, just the visual, the appearance of the Mandalorians, no matter whose fucking like clan they're with, be it the Maul clan or fucking, the Sisters clan or whoever, they all look fucking just awesome.
Dude, there's gotta be, you just have this vision of like 20, 30 years from now, where there's some like art history class that's talking about Star Wars, and like there's probably some fucking phallic element to the fucking Boba Fett character that we're not picking up on. Like there's some portion of that, right? That some fucking art student's they're gonna pick that scab and fucking run with it. Sure. And it was like, oh, this is why Star Wars is so popular, because all the phallic symbols that were in it. Like, oh look, the lightsabers are shaped like dildos, and the fucking Boba Fett looks, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Look, the Mandalorians, I think if there's anything about the completion of the Clone Wars, it's probably that chapter unfinished with the Mandos. Mm-hmm. And like you have Bo, what the fuck's her name? What the fuck's her name?
Bo-Katan?
Bo-Katan, thank you. I was thinking some Instagram model. It popped into my head. Anyway,
I've had a lot of those in the brain lately, but I digress.
Bo-Katan, and the fact you get that little interaction with Ahsoka, and then they go bugger off, and that's it. Yeah. The Mandalorian chapter of this is closed.
Yeah.
After that, and it's a huge chapter, man. It's one of those things where we're getting little bits and pieces of it, but holy fuck, there's a lot of story to be told there.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they did that on purpose, because that's future novels, future comics, future animated series, future live action series,
or not. See, this is where we are. I think when we talk about Star Wars right now, is with the new canon that's coming out with the High Republic. I think that we would be, if I were running Disney, it would be a foolhardy enterprise to start developing things. Was that the train?
It was.
Okay. Nobody's going to hear that except for me and the fact that I brought it up. Anyway, it would be a foolhardy enterprise to start delving into shit that's outside the New Republic. Like, you're developing this new canon. You want these storylines to take hold. You want to go in this direction with this new canon, which I think is fucking brilliant. Yeah, I love it. I love every single bit of it. But they'd be remiss if they moved on without fucking closing the book somewhat on Mandalore. Yeah, and maybe we get that in the Mandalorian series.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of that. If not in the Mandalorian, we'll get hints of it, and then we'll get either another animated series, we'll get a book, we'll get something. There's a bunch of questions.
Speaking of it, in Mandalorian, have you watched the Disney Plus? How you doing for that?
No, the thing that just debuted today. No, I have not.
Oh, did it debut today?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I thought I was behind. I did watch it today.
Oh.
Yeah, Big Sweet said, "Hey, did you see that thing?" I'm like, "No, I better watch that."
No, I was busy watching Clone Wars today, and then
I also watched Clone Wars today. I watched Clone Wars, then watched the Mandalorian thing, and then watched some other YouTube stuff about Star Wars, and did not write my paper.
I was gonna say, and by the way, he mentioned that he went to work today, so
I did go to work today.
Just wondering where you found the time to do all this.
There's time when you make it, apparently.
I guess. So, moving on, I want to talk about Episode 11, Shattered. This, to me, the best episode of Clone Wars ever produced, by far. Like, the mood that they create in this. So it starts off, kind of where we finished. They've captured Maul. The Mandalorians are kind of, well, with the help of the clones, are kind of retaking their planet and everything. There's some dialogue between Ahsoka and fucking Bo-Katan, like, hey, your people could use a new leader and blah blah blah.
Yeah. I don't know how my sister did it. That
yeah, yeah. But then we go into this. God damn, it must have been close to 10 fucking minutes. No dialogue, just this foreboding fucking soundtrack, this just dark fucking mood. Where first it starts off with them wheeling Maul onto the fucking ship. He's in this fucking Mandalorian Jedi, prison capsule.
Yeah, for Force users, which apparently is the last one.
Right, which, I even wrote down, it's a relic from a bygone era when we had to imprison you Force-wielding maniacs. So, and we know from also the Mandalorian, the armor building chick, she mentions, like, back in the old days, there was a war that we had with these, wizards called the Jedi, So there is a history there of, even in current canon, of the Mandalorians against the Jedi. We don't know what the extent of that is, but yeah, man, fucking super awesome looking too. But it's seriously, it feels like 10 fucking minutes of just like this, like, imagine the Emperor's theme, right? The doo doo doo, but like darker and stretched out more, and just like
it is
having
like,
this cloud over the whole
the listeners had said they talked about the Blade Runner, something very, very fucking like
just dark and ominous, and
like the kind of shit where if you heard it in real life and you were like in an alley somewhere, like, oh fuck, I'm about to be fucking done.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, this is like a fucking horror movie at this point. Like, it feels like somebody's about to get just knifed to death at any second. And I also wrote, this is fucking awesome. No dialogue for a long time. Now, this all happens immediately after Ahsoka has another communication with the fucking Jedi Council.
Right.
Which is an exact recreation of a scene in fucking Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
Where fucking they mentioned that Obi-Wan had just engaged Grievous. Fucking Cody goes off the message. Windu says, I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi. If fucking he tells Anakin to fuck off and go tell Palpatine. And then he tells Yoda, like, if Palpatine doesn't give up his powers, we got to intervene.
A dark place.
Yes. And they completely recreated that fucking scene with the Clone Wars characters, and then Ahsoka comes in at the tail end of that scene. I went back. I'm sure, like most of you listening probably did. As soon as that scene happened, I fucking went back and pulled up Revenge of the Sith and rewatched that scene. It's like, oh, it's fucking flawless the way they did it.
Yeah.
And that scene ended in the movie, but where that ended is where Ahsoka came into the fucking the meeting.
Yep.
So good shit, man.
With Mace Windu kind of giving her a nod, fucking fading in existence. Like they owed at that point, they owed a lot to Ahsoka. For being able to fucking stop the bullshit on Mandalore, doing it as a fucking citizen.
Yep, capturing Darth Maul.
And fucking doing it in spectacular style, like full control of the fucking Force.
Yeah.
Like using it to its maximum ability. And even to the point where standing there and Yoda is like, shit, old girl's got more to say. And she's like, no, I'm good. Like being able to look at fucking Master Yoda and be and hold something back from Yoda.
Yeah, the whole Anakin thing about how Maul told her that Anakin was going to be the new Dark Apprentice.
Yeah, something more. Like Yoda was really, really hoping like he would get something out of her.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, nope.
And that kind of goes back to all of the mistrust that she has with the Council. Like, that's... If they hadn't been so fucked up, right? If they hadn't pushed her to this point... she probably would have been more trusting and would have told Yoda, like, hey, Maul said this thing, Anakin going to the dark side, being groomed as Sidious's new apprentice. Yoda maybe could have then been like, hey, tell fucking Anakin to come back. Don't take your fucking eyes off of him. We gotta rein this shit in.
Yeah, so, look, I'm a huge Yoda should be fucking persecuted on fucking war crimes type guy, right? But... do you think that Yoda at some point is just along for the ride? Like, so he's got. I think Yoda knows that the end game, right? The fucking Iron Man snapping his finger, like he knows it's going to happen. So, and he has to play his role in it. Because if he did anything else, like, it's fucking chaos.
Right.
Like, if we're going to bring balance to the Force and be able to get to this fucking point, like, you have to know that Yoda at some point either sees some version of this in a vision.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that Yoda and the amount of, we talked about it a lot on the podcast, right? We've talked about how Yoda he's been the guy. He's made the decisions. Like, everyone's deferred to him. Like, he is the Grand Master. So,
Yeah.
in that respect, I mean, me personally, like, when I saw this interaction with him in Ahsoka, I was looking at it as he is a guy who knows at the end of this, he knows the end game.
Yeah.
He might not know what Ahsoka's part in it is. Like, he doesn't know what's going to happen to Ahsoka. And I feel like if he thought that Ahsoka was going to be alive or at some, like, where she was going to be, that they would have alluded to it. Like, oh, here's one more, light side user that we can go and see if that. No, he doesn't know what happens to Ahsoka.
Right.
So I think because he doesn't know what's going to happen to Ahsoka, was desperate at that point. That interaction, which seems so innocuous to me, showed that Yoda was desperate to try and understand what's going to happen in the future.
Right, and it seemed to me like he was kind of propositioning her the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
Come back. Did you do this as a Jedi?
Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
kind of want
Not like, and I mean, maybe I'm just reading too much into it, which is entirely, look, as Star Wars fans, of course we're reading into it.
Yeah.
Right? Fucking Dave Filoni put this in front of us for a reason. So, to me, I'm inferring that Yoda is, it seems he comes off as a very, like, I'm kind of playfully saying, like, yeah, he did this as a Jedi, right? But in reality, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what she is in the Force, where she is in the balance of the Force. When the fucking the hammer comes down, he doesn't know where Ahsoka is going to be in it.
Right.
And with her actions showing more towards the light than the dark, then he probably would, like, okay, this is somebody I'd rather have on my side, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And to me, it was very, very poignant as to showing, again, the weakness of the Jedi Council, the weakness of Yoda not being able to see. Like, so many years relying on the Jedi Council for seeing what's going to happen, and then now we're in a point where the dark side has clouded everything, and they can't make those decisions. This started back in the fucking Dooku book.
Yeah.
This started back when fucking they were letting a planet die, and Dooku was like, "Yo, what the fuck, man? They're all gonna die. We can do something about it. I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna go do it."
Yeah.
Right. That was the premise. That was the entire premise of him, like, being drawn to the dark side.
Which, just shows how well Disney has, done this era in the canon. Because with the Ahsoka book that you've got right next to you, with the fucking Dooku book, with the Clone Wars, with all of this other shit that they've integrated into this canon, they've really done, with the exception of fucking lesbian Hispanic sisters, they've really done the Clone Wars a real good justice, like, with this whole fucking era. And it seems like they've kind of wrapped it up into a nice little package at this point. Like,
yeah.
Everything's there. Like, this kind of closed the book with that, and with fucking Dooku, and the Ahsoka book, and, everything. It's just, it's perfect. Dark Disciple that we just read. That ties in really well with everything that's going on right now. So,
yeah, all these things concurrently. It's like when we've been reviewing these things, it's like we had some sort of insight.
Yeah.
Like, we've been at the forefront of this. It may have seemed like we were behind the times. It may have seemed like we were ignoring Clone Wars, but the reality is that we were just playing the long game.
Exactly.
We were the
Palpatine.
We were indeed the Palpatine, and here we are on May 4th, bringing it all together like we knew would happen.
Fucking A. So, yeah, after they cart Maul onto the ship like he's fucking Hannibal Lecter. Did you get that feeling? Like, when they're wheeling fucking Hannibal Lecter out and he's in that fucking stretcher and all this shit on him. Like, that's like how Maul kind of came off in this.
He's like looking around. You could tell that he was like kind of sizing up what his opportunity was.
Yeah, even though he was trapped as fucking trapped can get for a Force wielder. And, they bugger off. They're leaving Mandalore, foreboding dark music. They get a call. Yeah, we got an update on the war. And Rex is like, oh, you want to come with me? Telling this to Ahsoka after they had this little heartfelt moment together.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, nah, it's probably just more good news.
Yeah. Well.
And that's when we get motherfucking Order 66. As Ahsoka is on this fucking cruiser filled with clones.
Right. So here's the one. If there was one thing that I took issue with throughout the entirety of this thing, and it I don't know. It could go one way or the other. Ahsoka at this point had basically renounced her Jedi being a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And when Order 66 happens, she is included in that, in the balance of that.
Of course.
And it makes me wonder, it for me, it creates a bit of a rift. It just a small one. But I get it. I get it. Mm-hmm. Right? She's obviously working towards the greater good as opposed to the fucking dark side, right? She's not one of Palpatine's pawns. She's that fucking remainder that's out there that is unaccounted for, and she obviously has to die.
Yeah.
And probably when they were programmed, sure, all right, boom, this is fucking blue lightsaber Jedi, whatever. But it did create a small issue for me, as she's standing on the bridge of the cruiser, and she gets the vision of Anakin basically there in the scene with Mace Windu when Palpatine's like, unlimited power!
All dialogue that they took those audio tracks from Revenge of the Sith and put them into here. Yeah. That's that dialogue.
Yeah, so you have Ahsoka and Maul at the same time basically feeling this happening in the Force, having this holy fuck moment.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, for me, the question came up as, again, I'm a fairly binary individual, right? So I'm like, she's not a Jedi. Mm-hmm. We've got all kinds of shit telling us that she's not a Jedi. She's renounced the Jedi Order, blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. And because of the Ahsoka book, I felt like she had a chance. She had a chance that she was able to kind of be in that neutral area.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have went... I don't know. I can't besmirch anything that they did because I liked how everything came out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, as somebody who knows the future, right? We all have the benefit of seeing the future.
Sure.
So knowing what happened in the book and kind of the outcome of this, and even this Ahsoka book, right? We talked about it as it's being more of an young adult novel, and it's kind of there's plucky moments and everything else. The fucking gravity of the situation happening right then, really made me question, well, fuck, she's not a Jedi, so are they going to do this? What's going to happen?
Well, see, and I think, obviously we don't know the exact details of Order 66, but I would imagine it's any Force sensitives. Jedi or not, because anybody who's Force sensitive is going to be a thorn in Palpatine's side at some point or another. Be it either another dark side user who's going to come up and try to usurp him, or somebody who's like, the fucking Jedi were the best and they're gone, but I'm going to try to be one, So I think Order 66 really stretched out to any Force user, not just the people who are currently have their Jedi membership cards.
They were super, super specific though. And that's the part, so it wasn't just, we actually hear in these episodes what Order 66 was. Mm-hmm. Order 66 was the execution of the Jedi and also those clones who proved that they were, basically they weren't going to follow their orders.
Yeah.
Which is why we get all this exchange with fucking Rex.
Yeah, I personally think you're just reading too much into it. I'm sure the intent is basically any Force user. Which is why, we see, even in current canon, as time goes along, Vader is fucking hunting down anybody that's a Force user, be it a former Jedi or, just fucking anybody who's got some powers, because all of those are a threat to Palpatine and his power at some point or another. So, even like Ezra. Ezra was never a fucking Jedi, but he was a threat, a Force-wielding threat to Palpatine's power. So, he's got to go. So same with Ahsoka. Even though she left the fucking order, she's still got that fucking goody blood in her, and at some point she's gonna come back. And
so basically, Ahsoka was on the fucking. She wasn't on a naughty list, so that made her a threat.
Right.
So, and then hence the execution.
Yeah, that's
fair enough.
I think you're reading too much into it, but
probably.
Yeah,
but that's what we do. We're fucking doing a Star Wars podcast, so of course I'm gonna fucking read a little bit into it.
Yeah. So for
as
the rest,
much as I do.
For the rest of this episode, it's basically Ahsoka trying to take Rex alive and kind of find out what the fuck and convince him to be good again. Which is essentially what happens. She gets the help of these 3 droids. Her R2 unit that she's had through a good portion of the Clone Wars, and then a couple
R7,
others.
right?
Yeah, and one that sounds and looks a lot like fucking the one droid from Rebels.
Right.
Fuck. Yeah, it's been a while.
I know this is going to come up, and I still forgot. It's
Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about. Because Dave Filoni did the voice for it again.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so...
Oh, he had the arms, he did fucking salute.
Yeah, so it's very similar. It looks like an R2 unit, but it acts like that fucking droid from Rebels.
Hang on. I'm thinking.
Don't kill yourself.
I'm going to have a goddamn stroke. Trying to remember.
We'll have it before the end of the episode, I'm sure. Somebody in the chat help us out.
Yeah,
that guy. Exactly. Very annoying droid, by the way. So they fucking, first of all, Rex orders the rest of the clones like to fucking execute Maul. They're like, go take
that dude out.
Which you could tell when they actually went into his fucking cell and they started opening his little fucking Mando prison, that he knew. Like, he had that look of concern on his face. Like, fuck. As soon as this thing opens, they're gonna fucking blast me to fucking oblivion. Ahsoka obviously comes and rescues him, but tells him, like, I don't give a fuck about you. We ain't working together. Just help me get out of here. She captures Rex. They do some research, find out about the fucking chips in their head. She eventually fucking finds it. They get it out of his head. Yeah,
or neutralize it some sort of way in the MRI machine.
Yeah. Well, he's got the Band-Aid, and remember in Rebels, he's got the fucking scar on the side of his head. He's like, I took my chip out, which you didn't take it out, but we'll let that slide.
Right.
And then at the very end of the episode, he tells her, like, yeah, the fucking this is everywhere.
Dude,
like,
every single one of us is trying to kill every Jedi.
Yeah. And then boom, the end. So that's where that episode ends.
Fuck. Episode 11, it is a very, very good episode of television.
Yeah.
It is fucking... I don't know if we talked about it last week at all, but I think that episode, that was Shattered, right?
Yeah.
Shattered was like one of the most watched television episodes, like ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a whole thing. It was an IMDb thing. Chopper. Thank you from Bulgaria. Yeah. We get Chopper.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I can stop having this stroke.
Yeah, and GG was the unit in this episode.
Right.
Yeah, but Chopper is the droid that he looks and sounds a lot like.
Thank you so much.
I knew the chat would come.
They always do every time. Yeah. Every time they're the fucking best. No, this I honestly I should look it up because I remember there was things on Reddit that were coming out because there's a bunch of subreddits that I follow for Star Wars, and one of them was talking about the Clone Wars IMDb was like one of the highest. Hang on.
I wonder how they get those stats. I mean, Disney would have to make some sort of a press release, really, for that to be known. Like, oh, this was our most downloaded or our most watched thing on Disney Plus, because that's the only place you can get it now.
I mean, perhaps
is Disney Plus. So if there's any legitimacy to that statement, then it had to have come from Disney.
It has a 9.9 rating.
Oh yeah,
out of 10.
And it was so good.
It was really really fucking good.
Yeah.
And it was a rinse of we alluded to it, right? But in the first episode of this 4-part, it was like, oh, okay, we're getting completely away from the bullshit that they obviously had in a can. They were just going to get this out. They staged this to get to where we are now.
Right.
Those things are completely fucking forgotten.
Right.
Those are
and I'll never watch those again.
never, ever, ever. But I'll watch these last 4. I'll watch these last 4 episodes dozens of times.
Oh yeah.
Like back to back to back to back to back, because it was must see television. Must see television from a Star Wars level. If you're a Star Wars fan and you're not into Clone Wars, you need to watch these 4 episodes because of just get a feeling for what these episodes would bring us and what the possibilities are for the future. Because this was Dave Filoni's vision to how, like, the other bullshit and the campiness or whatever is fucking gone. No remnants of it whatsoever when we get to episode 11.
Yeah, no, we're dead serious at this point.
Yeah, this is not children's shit. This is... Guess what? We just ordered the execution of every fucking Jedi. Mm-hmm. Everywhere.
Shit got real.
Yeah. And this is where we are. And we see some of the most Jedi shit. Like, we see some of the best force wielding that we've seen yet in any Star Wars joint.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Like, seeing, like, as we get into episode 12 and into the finale, we see the force being wielded in ways from a force user that was written as basically a comic fucking, like, this is our racial fucking, like, all right, here's our gratuitous fucking non-human that we're going to insert into a fucking series. All of a sudden, this is one of the most powerful force users I've ever seen, ever.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of that has to do with, you know, her evolution as a character throughout the Clone Wars and her increase in popularity. Because go back and listen to, God, I think it was episode 3 or 4 of the podcast where we reviewed...
Of our podcast?
Of this podcast.
Okay.
Episode 3 or 4 where we reviewed the Clone Wars movie. The fucking...
Oh, shit, yeah.
We had Bob Healy on here. We talked
oh my
about
God,
the
yeah. Fuck, that was...
Clone Wars movie and how much I fucking hated Ahsoka.
Oh, it was
She
grotesque.
Was awful.
Yeah.
Awful character. But like any television series that has any sort of longevity, you see growth in the characters. Growth and improvement over time, which you get that with Ahsoka. And apparently her popularity like fucking skyrocketed throughout the course of this. So, you know, we fully admit that we were not engaged in Clone Wars while it was fresh.
Indeed.
But, you know, in hindsight, I can sort of see why, but it took me a long time to kind of warm up to her. But by the time we get to this point, yeah, totally on board.
Right.
And I can definitely see where they were going and why they made these decisions. So, anyway, moving into episode 12, Victory and Death, the one that just came out today.
Right.
The series finale of the Clone Wars.
Woo.
Picks up right where the last one left off. They were still in the medical bay, which, oh, by the way, I love the fact that the medical symbol on the fucking bay door is the one that you use for the fucking, the healing potions in Battlefront.
Yeah, there's a great continuity of effort there.
Yeah, no, that
fucking awesome.
As soon as I saw that symbol in episode 11 when they were first wheeling him into the medical bay, I'm like, oh, fuck, I know that symbol.
Ow.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Ow.
And really, like, this episode was good. Don't get me wrong. But it was very narrow because the whole episode was basically just them trying to get off this fucking ship. I mean, that's really what it is. It's them trying to escape and just trying to fucking, you know.
Yeah, it's being drawn into, ultimately, you know it's going to crash on that fucking planet.
Yeah. Well, and see, but we get some cool stuff leading into that. And you mentioned it. Like, this is kind of like the final evolution of, like, Dave Filoni's animation and everything else because you get some really good visuals. First, you get the scene of fucking Maul going into the engine room and just fucking up the hyperdrive engines. Just pulling the shit down. You can see, you're seeing it from his back, and you're just seeing him pulling the fucking engines down, like into this massive fucking force ability.
And it's great because even like in Battlefront 2, where you have like these sequences in starships where you're fighting like these multiple levels and there's fucking like, oh, here's some weird shit over here. And you got clones everywhere.
Yeah.
You got clones everywhere on this fucking bridges over the abyss that is the engine fucking room. I like the tie-ins between like the animation styles of what they're doing in Battlefront, even though the Battlefront game play is still terrible, but there's still overlays that was like, wow, this is a scene I know.
Yep.
Like I mean, honestly, can you tell me between episodes 11 and 12, was there a scene where you didn't feel like I am 100% immersed
Oh yeah,
in what's going on with this fucking with this picture in front of me right now? I 100% know. I'm not wondering. Like, there's some questions about like the planet they landed on, whether it's Hoth or not.
I don't think it was Hoth.
I don't think so either.
My
I know that
kids
came
asked
up
me
in the
that.
chat.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's Hoth.
Yeah.
But that's we'll get to that. We'll get to that point. But
Yeah.
I just was struck by how much I was fucking invested in every shot they were taking. Like, they were demonstrating the ability. Like, this scene that you're in, this is fucking Star Wars. Oh, by the way, the next scene with the fucking hangar bay doors, Hal, that fucking Star Wars.
Oh
and
yeah.
it just
Well, and even after like Maul fucks up the engine room, there is just a beautiful shot of the fucking cruiser coming out of hyperspace. It's an outer shot. You see it come out of hyperspace, and it's already just like fucking smoking all over the place.
Parts everywhere.
Beautiful shot though. Like, the animation has gotten to the point where we talked about it, like at the very beginning of Clone Wars. Very crude, very ugly, very clunky. It's just like, oh god. To now, this animation that they've gotten to now is fucking perfect. And I would love to see them do an entire new series with this level of detail and this level of style of animation. But yeah, looks fucking phenomenal. And every time you see this outer shot of this cruiser, like, slowly crashing into this fucking moon, because they called it a moon specifically, just looks fucking phenomenal. There's one scene where, this is way later in the episode, where they get that fighter, like, Ahsoka and Rex.
Yeah, they get into like the Y-wing style fighter,
and you can see them kind of going in the clouds, and then you see in the distance that fucking cruiser, just that smoking fucking heap, like, slowly drifting down into the clouds too.
Enter the atmosphere, and they fucking we got this in fucking in Revenge of the Sith, right? Because the first sequence we get on Revenge of the Sith is the fucking them riding a goddamn cruiser,
half of a ship,
And it was basically the same fucking cruiser. Like, the way that the bridge styling was and everything else, you're getting the same fucking shots. Also, let's not forget, like, each one of these shots that they're showing, I think it might have been gradual, but to me it was kind of striking. Like, when you're seeing the bridge of one of these cruisers, you're seeing clones in Imperial uniforms.
Yeah.
Like, you're seeing Imperial officers.
Yeah.
And it went from even the stormtroopers, like the clone troopers, you're watching the evolution of their fucking helmets, where you have the mix of here's the Ahsoka painted up ones, and then you have some fucking just straight up white clad fucking looking like stormtroopers.
Yeah, they're like just like one little design difference away from being full.
It's not this.
No,
it's not this.
No,
it's not fucking. It's not season 1 fucking clone troopers.
Yeah,
it is now. Like, it is half an element away from being a no shit stormtrooper.
Yep.
So I think the way that they kind of stepped us into that post Order 66 was that, hey, here's some little element changes. Here's a little bit of helmet change. Like, yeah, you've got these guys that are part of the fucking 501st, but then you also have these white stormtroopers.
Yeah.
That are basically, their helmets are like just one iteration away from being the stormtroopers we know and love from the original trilogy. So shots that show us the bridge and these types of things that are basically they're placing you, taking you from one, here it is, post Order 66, here's your next step into getting to the Empire. And it's already happening. It's happening right in front of your eyes, and you don't notice it until we get to this fucking point.
Yeah.
In the story, and I can't applaud Filoni and the whole team enough for fucking getting us here, for getting us to this point.
Yeah, don't disagree at all. Really, really good stuff. I had a bit of an issue with them not wanting to kill clones as they're trying to break out. Ahsoka and Rex, she was very adamant about, no, I don't want to be the person that kills them, even though at the end of the day they're all gonna fucking die anyway when this thing crashes into the moon. So I didn't like that aspect of it, and there were several times where it was like those two staring down a fucking 100 clone troopers, and they still survive. You know, Ahsoka's somehow able to deflect the fucking laser blast from 100 goddamn clones, and It seemed a bit of a stretch, but it's a little nitpicky at this point.
Yeah, and we could get there. Like when something's so good and you can start nitpicking like that. But for me, it was more the the inevitability of it's going to come down to, like, we know where Ahsoka goes, right? Like, so we know that she lives, and what she, like, this is where we come into the fact that, like, Julius brought it up in the chat earlier, where you see Ahsoka using her lightsabers more as fucking, like, to control, like, her fall and her descent.
You see that at least twice in this, where she's like she digs them into the ground basically to keep herself from flinging back.
And what impressed me even more than that was when she fucking threw them into the ground, and she basically used the Force to fucking spin out a fucking circle that they fell down into. I legitimately, like, because I was sitting at my kitchen table and I'm watching this on my phone, getting ready for the podcast, right? And it's not the best way to watch this, and I'll watch it. I'll watch it 100. I'll watch it 100 more times. But I had to watch it. This was my opportunity to watch it, so I did. But when you're immersed in it, like, it doesn't matter what size the screen is. Like,
sure.
Honestly. And that's where I was. I was immersed in this thing. And I'm looking, and, like, when she fucking uses the Force to cut that circle out while all the other shit is going on, I'm like, this is the most that we've seen a light side user use the Force in that way. Like, in this progression of episodes, we've seen her use the Force in ways that, like, in the very beginning of this, when she fucking blows the goddamn door open, like, all right, they just breached the door, okay, boom! Yeah. She fucking blows the hatch back. So she is using the Force to its maximum potential. Like, she is, Neo in the Matrix right now. Like, she can. So the fact that she's blocking things and she's able to do all this stuff, I think, is because she's relieved of the fucking shackles of being a Jedi. Yeah. For her, it's just, I have to survive because I don't know what's coming next. Yeah. Like, I don't know what's going to happen next. Maul's gone. I let him go. Yeah. She fucking grabbed that spaceship. And
like, much like Rey in Rise of Skywalker, where the ship's flying away, she's like,
and bringing it back, and like some fucking clone, like, a clone of droid's gonna hold on to you while you're fucking doing this.
Yeah, it's like, no.
But the release of fucking Maul, like, this is her making decisions as, like, here's, like, what am I supposed to do next? Now I have to release Maul in order to have my conscience clean, that I've done everything I can to keep the rest of these from dying.
Right, because that was the thing. Rex was under some pretty heavy fire, and if she didn't, like, go to his rescue, he was fucking done.
Yeah, he was done. Point.
And so she's like, fuck it. She let him go, goes back, like, helps Rex.
How about the charges on his fucking pistols that he can fucking shoot that many stun shots out?
I know, right?
I mean, was anybody else thinking that? I was like, God damn, dude. Like, why isn't everybody stunning everybody?
I know.
Like, it's like fucking dual wield pistols.
Now, we talked about those 3 droids that helped Ahsoka. There was a point where one of them got fucking destroyed as they were, trying to fight off the mobs. And then there was another scene where the other 2, the chopper-like one and another one, they got cornered by the fucking clones, and they just straight up executed the fucking droids.
They basically said, fuck these clones, and fucking blew them out.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, now, granted, they were helping Ahsoka and Rex with, like, the fucking elevators and everything else, but yeah, man, like, this shit stayed dark, and when the clones fucking cornered those droids, just boom, done.
Dude, fuck these droids.
Yeah.
Like, basically, it might as well have said those words, fuck these droids.
Yeah.
And just executed them.
Yep. So, and there's this big, long, strung out, like, thing where Rex gets in a fighter, and Ahsoka's, like, fucking floating outside of the cruiser because she gets blown out, and it's about to crash. They get away, the thing fucking crashes, but, with the dignity that they have, and they, to go along with them not wanting to kill the clones, they go and they bury every fucking clone they can find afterwards.
Right.
To include Jesse, who I guess has been a big player in the Clone Wars up to this point.
I guess.
He's the guy with the fucking, the Alliance tattoo on his fucking face.
Right.
He gets buried. They put his helmet on top. And
Yeah, he's basically in charge once Rex goes rogue or whatever.
Yeah. So, and Ahsoka drops her lightsaber at one of the gravestones. Now, this ties into the Ahsoka novel, I'm pretty sure. I remember in that, at the beginning, them mentioning something like her putting her lightsabers at a grave for, like, Rex to make it look like she fucking killed Rex.
So, here's... let me see. Ahsoka was done without Rex. No other Jedi has some... Yeah, this is true. Ivo G brings up in the chat, Ahsoka was done as well without Rex. None of the other Jedi had someone stunning clones for them to block.
Yeah.
So, and you have to imagine after Order 66 is that switch is flipped, that like you just enabled all their fucking bonus features.
Right.
Like any holding back that those clones had for fucking killing clankers is now off.
Yep.
Like, because they need that ability to fucking kill the Jedi.
Yeah.
So I would tend to agree with that. That Ahsoka needed Rex as much as Rex needed Ahsoka at the end.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
but,
they couldn't have survived without each other.
Yeah.
And without Maul's help, to some degree.
But I think that the continuity error that if there's any, the Ahsoka book, if I remember correctly, and correct me in the chat, I'm well willing to say that I'm wrong. But what I encountered when I first watched this was Rex, like, they basically staged Ahsoka's death.
Yes.
Like, Ahsoka, like, her lightsabers being in the ground represented the fact that she was buried along with the clones and that Rex had killed her.
Yes.
That was the intention.
Yeah.
They didn't touch that at all with this.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting to be like the last scene of this episode.
Which they see, it's,
I guess they left it open for it to happen down the line.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily continuity error because we see what happens, like, fast forward a little bit, but
yeah.
I think that the book fleshed it out a little bit differently. Like, I would imagine that one of their plans, at the end of the day was like, okay, look, here, we're gonna fake my death. You're gonna stun me, so that I'll be dead. I'll look like I'm dead. And then you're going to bury me with the other clones, and then you go about your merry ways being the hero, right? They didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, they didn't need to. Because if you didn't read the Ahsoka book, you'd have no knowledge of that whatsoever.
Right.
You'd have nothing to tell you that, hey, we're missing something here, or that there's some part of the story that's being untold. Instead, what they did was, like, she's in the cloak, right?
Looking exactly the way she does in Rebels.
Right. She's in the cloak. She's standing there. And you're exactly right. The CG has her aged to the point where she looks like she does in Rebels.
Yeah.
And when she's standing there looking at the clones' graves and she drops the lightsaber, that it leaves it for interpretation. It doesn't necessarily take something away from the novelization,
right,
or the Ahsoka novel, but it basically, here's this representation of that. And then let's fast forward to one of my favorite scenes in this particular episode was you have the shuttle, the Tidarian shuttle that comes down.
Yep.
And it gives you, like, if you've watched Star Wars for fucking 5 minutes, as soon as you see that shuttle, that you've gone ahead in time. That you've gone, now we're in fucking, like, the Empire's in full fucking froth.
Yeah, at some point in the Empire era, we don't really get any sense as to when. This could have been 3 years later, or it could have been 13 years later. We have no fucking clue at this point. But, like, the clone helmets are still somewhat intact, so it makes me think it's somewhere like 3 to 5 years, probably. Though it is snowing, which I know that's what got a lot of people thinking about Hoth, snow troopers on the ground,
right,
the fucking Imperial probe droids. But no, I don't think it's Hoth. I think it's just some random fucking moon that has seasons.
Right.
They just happen to get there in the winter.
Yeah, and here's why I say that, and here's like, let's flush this idea out, right? Yeah. When they go back to Hoth, like, if you're going to establish a rebel base on Hoth, you're not going to do it in a place where there's a crashed cruiser from the
Right.
Republic.
Yeah.
Like, this is like an uncharted moon. They fucking come out of hyperspace, and there may be some, if like we really investigate, there may be some correlations as to like, because they give you an exterior shot, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know why I yawn. They give you an exterior shot. Maybe we can glean something from that. But the reality is, it's just a snow planet. Hoth's not the only snow planet.
Right. Just like Tatooine isn't the only fucking desert planet.
Right.
Right.
Because you have Jakku, you have fucking
Pisana.
or whatever, the party planet.
Yeah, Pisana, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Piss on it. But yeah, it was like, oh, fuck, I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, yeah, no, we jump ahead 3 to 5 years. Don't know what planet it is, but it's probably not Hoth.
Right.
Vader lands, and yeah, he walks up to the fucking gravesite, immediately goes right to Ahsoka's lightsaber, fucking picks it up, has this moment. Obviously, you can't see his emotions because
Right.
it's the fucking Vader mask, but he's looking at the lightsaber. He even ignites it for a second, and you just
Right.
have this moment where he's just, you know, really spending time to kind of like soak this in.
Right.
So
Especially because it's a blue lightsaber, right? And he worked on it.
right, it's the lightsaber that he presented to Ahsoka a couple
Right.
episodes ago, which was like one of her original lightsabers. But like you said, he's worked on it.
Yeah,
he's
he
done
modified
things-
it.
So obviously he knew it was Ahsoka's. Obviously.
Yeah.
And I think that really kind of helps wrap up the entire series, because this series really was about the relationship between Anakin and Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. That's what the Clone Wars really was. And then,
Yeah.
you throw in the elements of Rex and Cody.
Yeah. You have I don't know. I'm assuming we have 7 seasons, 12 episodes a season. So you're talking
Or
about 97 total episodes. Is that right? Am I doing that
Well,
math
I
right?
think some of the seasons were like 20 episodes.
So you have upwards of potentially 100 episodes of what ultimately comes down to the relationship, like you said, between Ahsoka and Anakin.
Yeah, because the very first episode in that first movie was her showing up as his new apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
So this almost brings us full circle when he finds that lightsaber, because I'm sure at this point he thinks, okay, she died during the purge, because he probably didn't know at that point. He had seen no evidence of her death, knew she was out there somewhere, knew she was working with the Republic at that point.
Right.
So even though he was now Darth Vader, he was fucking all in on the dark side. You can tell with that hesitation, with him kind of analyzing the lightsaber
Right.
and igniting it and everything else. You can tell he still felt something deep down.
Like some connection to his past,
Yeah.
And what's really interesting to me here is you get with all right, so here we are in Clone Wars. You have, I don't know, 100 some episodes to get us to this point, right, of the Clone Wars. And this takes us right into ostensibly what's probably between somewhere maybe before Empire. If we're really thinking about it, we know that Vader's been working side jobs with Doc Aphra.
Yeah.
So you have that entire thing. So you know that Anakin, like, who deep down inside, this is why I'm on the fucking Imperial bandwagon, right? So Anakin, to me, all he wanted to do was make sure that his friends were safe.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted peace. He wanted his friends to live. He treasured his fucking relationships, and ultimately that's what drew him to the dark side, was because those passions for people and connections with things are what the Jedi obviously espouse to not have, because it affects their judgment in some sort of way, which is fucking bullshit. But I think that this relationship with Anakin and Ahsoka, and with Anakin and Padme, with Anakin and almost anything, with his mother, these are all the things that you look at and go like, yeah, absolutely. If we want to fucking have a conversation about was he in fact was he the one to bring balance to the Force? To me, the answer is absolutely 100% yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Because in order to have balance, you need to have you have to have a tipping point.
Yep.
And ultimately, even though he destroyed the Jedi, he destroyed the Jedi, to use Luke Skywalker's phrase, it was based on the Jedi hubris that he overcame.
Yeah.
To get to that point. It's like, okay, I can't have a relationship with this woman that I love. I'm having visions of what the future would be like. I ultimately don't want to see this person die. I want this person to live. And I'm going to do everything that I fucking can to make sure that happens. Never once in the entirety of what we have in the Skywalker saga, never once was it ever in question what Anakin's motives were.
No.
They were always right out there in front of everybody.
Yeah. We knew exactly what drove him. The whole thing, Palpatine convincing him to go to the dark side, was all for his need to save Padme. That's what it was. You know? If she wasn't dying, if he didn't have those fucking dreams of her dying, he never would have went with him. Right? It was all about just whatever it took to keep her safe.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm going to have children. This is the future that I want. And there is so much, like, let's go completely. Julius Kale says there's 133 episodes of Clone Wars. Yeah. So 133 episodes minus a bunch of droid and fucking Padme bullshit. But most of those episodes are based on fucking Ahsoka and Anakin's relationship coming to this point.
Yeah.
And bravo on Clone Wars for making Ahsoka relevant all the way to this point.
Yeah.
Because it could have very well have been like, oh, this is an animated character that is fucking looked good in a pair of tight pants. She'll look good in some not safe for work fucking Star Wars shit, but this is an irrelevant character. No, let's make her relevant all the way to the end. Mm-hmm. But you have Anakin who's never, like, he's never disingenuous about what he's doing. He's always trying to, what's up, Isaac? Motor truckers. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. God damn it.
Yeah, no, we were talking about Anakin and Ahsoka, and Anakin wanting to keep everything safe, and his relationships, and and that's really what
it was never about. It was never about being bad.
Yeah,
it was never.
It was about protecting the ones that he loved.
Yeah,
that was it.
I think you see this with. I don't know.
Well, fuck, that's human nature. You back any of us into a corner.
Yeah,
like, I don't give a shit who you are. You threaten my kids, I'll fucking rip your goddamn head off.
Right.
You know, I don't care if you're the fucking police. I don't care if you're the president of the United States. You fucking get in the way of me and my kids, you and I are going to have problems.
Yep.
You know, or with my wife or anybody else.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing. It's like the balance shows that you have to make decisions. Like, ultimately you're forced to make decisions, and Ahsoka had to make those decisions also. Mm-hmm. She had to make, when she was standing there in front of Maul, and Maul says, "Hey, join with me so that we can fucking defeat fucking Sidious," and Ahsoka has to stand there and go like, okay, to legitimately beat Sidious, I would need, like, here I am at this crossroads. I have to make this decision. And she goes, okay, I will join you to do this. However, you have to tell me, like, who the Padawan is, who Anakin Skywalker is in this situation. And then when she finds out, she's like, yeah, no, I don't fucking believe you. And it's I think these last 4 episodes of Clone Wars, if for nothing else, it shows us, it completes, maybe not 100%, but it completes this story arc of Anakin Skywalker and brings us to a point where we can say, I can watch from fucking episode 1 and go all the way through the Anakin Skywalker story arc. Through Clone Wars, through his connections, through fucking murdering all those fucking kids, fucking going through that entire thing, Padme dying, to the point where in Return of the Jedi, where he is basically vindicated.
Yeah. Well, right. And again, it all goes back to protecting the people he loves. At that point, it's Luke.
Vader is never, like, to me, Vader is never the fucking bad guy in this. Did he fucking commit horrible, horrible atrocities? Of course, because he's fucking pissed, man. Yeah. He's fucking standing there. He's got like, I don't got a dick. I don't got a cock and balls.
I don't have a wife anymore. She's fucking dead.
Yeah, she's fucking dead. There's a kid out there who's fucking trying to fuck me up royal.
Yeah, this old asshole who's got a ball sack for a face manipulated me this whole fucking time.
I got one arm and a fucking head and a torso with no working fucking twig and berries.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking pissed about it. So I'm gonna fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
And that's where he's at.
But even then, even through all of that, we get a lot of this in the Vader comics. Like, he has a new goal at this point. His next goal is, I'm fucking this old asshole up.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to eventually get my shit together, get my resources together, and one way or another, by hook or by crook, this motherfucker's dead.
And the unfortunate part is, like, what I picture if Maul was in that same position, right? If Maul was Anakin, right? Mm-hmm. If Maul was Darth Vader, Maul would have looked at it and is going like, okay, I have an idea what the long game is. Yeah. I can play like, all right, I can see that you're trying to build on this, this, and this. Whereas Vader was always like, here's what's in front of me. Like, Vader, we went through a lot of legacy shit or legends shit where it's like how just devoted the fucking troops were to Vader. Mm-hmm. Like, what, not just the clones, like just his legion of troops would go and fucking fall on all the swords for Vader.
Yeah.
And so, because ultimately he cared, like they demonstrated in the comics, like he had this caring for his troops.
Right.
He
much
went out
like he
there.
had for Rex and the clones and everything else.
Exactly. His thing was with loyalty. Like, these motherfuckers are loyal to me. I'm going to take care of them the best that I can. So much so that, like, most of the time he'd walk into the fucking fire by himself because he could do that.
Yeah.
But I think, the entirety of the fucking Anakin story arc is more about, like, yeah, horrible, like, scary things that this guy did. But at the end of the day, it's like, what would you do? What would you do? Like you said, if you fucking took your kids and did some shit to them, what would you do? You would fucking move heaven and earth to make those people suffer.
Oh, yeah.
And I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Because,
like,
that
there are no laws at that point.
Oh, yeah, and that ties into the human side of him and of us, and that's how we can relate to that. Even though, yes, again, atrocities, blah, 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 killing younglings.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
necessary evils.
We see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it...
like, this is what I have to do. This
right.
is what I have to do. And he's the fucking chosen one. At some point, if somebody told me, is like, hey, no matter what you do, like, you're kind of the guy.
Yeah.
So whatever it is you do, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to kill a bunch of kids. Well, I'm like, that's what's going to happen. I'm like, fuck, he's the chosen one. God damn it. Yeah. All right. Well, then kill a bunch of kids then. I don't know.
Just going back to that last scene, you can tell, even though he's Darth Vader, even though he's in the fucking black mask and everything else, you can still feel that emotion that he's having as he's looking at Ahsoka's lightsaber.
What I like to is like, again, this is a timing perspective, right? So you have, when you're looking at his mask, this is like between episode 4 and 5 type mask because it's more red, like where you can still see through it a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember, because in New Hope, like for those who aren't paying attention, which if you're listening to us at this point, I'm sure you pay attention, but I'm going to say it regardless.
Yeah.
Like, you have more of a translucent fucking face shield where you can see through the eye hole, and it's more of like a red where you can see the eyes behind it.
You see eyeballs back there.
Right. So that's what you get with Anakin standing there at the, basically the tomb of these fallen clones, and then you have him going to say, like, you're getting that clear red lens of him. Yep. So again, it's Dave fucking Filoni. This motherfucker. Can we spend about 5 fucking minutes talking about how badly Dave Filoni just should be running fucking Star Wars?
Yeah, no, he should be the heir apparent to Kathleen Kennedy. Like, he should be next in line for running Lucasfilm.
This guy fucking he's got it.
Yeah,
and I watched that thing today. We talked about it a little bit. You haven't had a chance to see it, but
the Mandalorian thing.
Yeah, the Mandalorian thing, and it talks about Filoni's kind of how he got into his role in the Clone Wars, and he is a fucking Star Wars guy. He gets it. When he's doing the scenes with the Mandalorian, and he's working on the Clone Wars and doing all these things. Like he's processing it from a fan perspective.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we need. Like, what is going to make, like, we could do an entire episode. We could do an entire episode of like where we're going, right?
Sure.
Which is an idea maybe for later. But like Filoni to me is the guy who, like, okay, we've got to, as there was all these other directors with the Mandalorian, but Filoni and fucking Favreau were right there in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And we have these other episodes that are coming up, but this High Republic era, like, I can't imagine that they don't have some sort of plan that with the High Republic era that we're going to start seeing something, like either something cinematic, something on TV or whatever.
Maybe.
But if they don't fucking put Filoni in, like, okay, dude, start washing with this soap. Start washing with this High Republic soap and start giving us fucking ideas of how make this as good as you did with the Star Wars thing. Because the Clone Wars, there was a lot of Clone Wars that we thought was clunky and we didn't really like. You know, this Jason and Dave, like, didn't.
Well, yeah, there's an evolution. You go back and you watch those early episodes.
Right.
They're crude compared to these later episodes.
Right. And, dude, and Filoni started, like, it talks about how he started at Nickelodeon. He was working on The Last Airbender and, like, it just... But the guy's a Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where if I tell you something about Star Wars and you're Dave Filoni, you're going to look at it and you're going to process it in a way that whatever comes out, like, I'm going to give you input. Whatever comes out is going to make sense in my world.
Yeah.
In this world that is fucking Star Wars that we fucking live in. It's going to make sense. And that's why Filoni needs to be fucking... he needs to be conning the ship right now.
Yeah.
At fucking Star Wars, not some fucking ass clown who wants to have a fucking series about fucking some Inigo Montoya fucking killing his father, prepared to die fucking guy.
Or, you know, we won't talk about rumors and speculation.
Listen,
but...
yeah, all we can talk about is what's been published.
Yes.
But I think for me it's just a good springboard for the fact that we are going into the High Republic era, going back in time, long time ago in galaxy, further away, and or at least along the timeline. I'm willing to fucking swim all up and down that fucking shore. You know, 3 years into this fucking Star Wars podcast, right? We've talked about a lot of different things. We've got piles of the Sacred Jedi text.
The Sacred text.
I got a fucking tub back here that we never even got to today of fucking shit that I brought from the house. But the reality is that I want to look forward. To me, when I watched that today, to me, that was now I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now I'm done with the Skywalker saga. To me, it was an adequate closing of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Whatever I wasn't necessarily happy with Rise of Skywalker, like, Rise of Skywalker has its place, but it doesn't really talk about Anakin. Like, as far as everything goes with Anakin, like, to me, I can close that book. I can put it nicely into the fucking pile of the sacred text, and I can move on.
Yeah.
That's how good this was to me. Like, I legitimately sat on my kitchen table watching this thing on my iPhone and went, holy fucking shit. I don't have to watch another minute of fucking Star Wars in the Skywalker saga.
Because there's really no need to. Like, we've got everything we need.
Yeah.
We have everything we need.
And that, again, that's a Dave Martin thing, but that, to me, Darth Vader and Darth Maul half the men he used to be. Yeah. Very good. Just catching up in the chat. Ivo G says the Jedi are the Cleveland Browns in the Star Wars. They did everything they could to destroy themselves. Aren't you from Bulgaria? What do you know about the Cleveland Browns? I fucking love that.
But he's not wrong either.
He's not wrong. That is a 100% accurate fucking interpretation. I love it.
So, yeah. That's it, though. That's it for Clone Wars. I'm really curious to see, you know, we talked about Dave Filoni, what his next project is, because Resistance is over. We've already had Rebels come and go.
Yep.
Clone Wars is now done. What's next? Are we going to see the next chapter in the fucking Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine fucking storyline? Like, what? When are we going to get that? It's not really a matter of if, it's when.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
You think?
They left that so fucking wide open. Like, they telegraphed that for fucking some sort of follow-up from miles away. Because of Thrawn and fucking Ezra and everything else, there's no fucking way they don't revisit that. And I feel like that should be the next thing for Filoni. And again, this will get us completely away from Skywalker at this point. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously Ahsoka will be involved, but Ahsoka, Sabine, you know, going off to find fucking Ezra, and you know, Thrawn's going to be involved. But yeah, I think that's the next story that they need to tell.
See, and this is where I really feel like you have this element that they started in Solo, where it's like, all right, we see Darth Maul, we kind of see he's part of the fucking crime syndicate and doing all these things, and that's kind of left hanging out there. And then you know, we have these other things that hang out there. For me, like I said, I want to move on. I want to be able to go to the High Republic and not look back.
You know, I was thinking about that exact same thing, and I kind of agree with you. Yeah, I think this era in Star Wars, starting from the prequels, going all the way to Rise of Skywalker, it's done. It's over. Yeah. We can close the book on this. We could get not another single piece of canon for any of that and be good forever.
Which really puts us in a kind of a precarious place for Mandalorian, because
because that is in the middle there.
Yeah, we have the child, we have all this other stuff that's left out there, but the Mandalorian's done a really, really good job of operating independently of anything that we've fucking been dealing with.
Right, and that's what I think, you know, the whole Sabine and Ahsoka finding Ezra and Thrawn can be as well. I think that can be completely independent of the Skywalker saga, and that can be its own isolated story. But either way, I totally forgot what I was saying.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah. No, I think I was going somewhere with that, and then I totally lost it. Oh, well. Either way. No, you're not wrong, though, about how theoretically we could leave this entire chunk of the timeline for good. I mean, obviously, we revisit it from time to time. Like, I still go and I watch Rise of Skywalker, or at least bits and pieces of it, you know, every day.
I still haven't I haven't rewatched The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh my God, it's on Disney Plus now. You have no excuse.
I know I don't have an excuse. I am one of those people that, hang on, before I get to that point, Scott Rasmussen in the fucking chat posts, someone should make an animated crossover called The Headless Horseman, starring Count Dooku. It's good. It's good.
Sure, Scott.
It's good. We got to make sure that makes the podcast as opposed to just being in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, no,
but
good. Well, how about we table this discussion for another episode, because we've been going for 2.5 hours.
Nice.
And I think we're getting to the point where we need to close this out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either way, I mean, even though Clone Wars started off as a fart in church, it ended with spring flowers on a nice sunny day.
Yeah, the last 4 episodes stand on their own as some of the best Star Wars content that
we've ever gotten.
Yeah, we may have ever gotten.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, you compare that 2-hour block of Star Wars time to any of the prequels, and quality-wise, it's probably better. But it complements them as well. It's not a comparison because it goes along with those, and it just makes them that much better. So...
Yeah. Oh, man, it was so good. Like I said, I sat on my kitchen table and I watched the episode today, and I was just, wow. I was really just taken aback by how seeing Vader, seeing the imagery with him standing there in front of a bunch of basically frozen corpses that were clones that were loyal to him as much as they were to Ahsoka.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was his legion. That was the 501st. You know, the people that were under Rex, like
Jesse. All those characters, that was all part of his doing. And you have to imagine that Anakin, underneath all that, feels it.
Yeah, and you could see it. Like I said, even though he was in the mask,
right,
you still got the sense that there was that slight sadness there.
Yeah, if you're listening to us right now, and I would highly recommend go back, watch episodes 9 through 12, just straight in a row.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need a pee break. You'll go right straight fucking through it. And just kind of absorb the fact that, like, this is ultimately, like, Ahsoka was probably the last fully independent voice before the fucking purge.
Yeah.
Like, she was the one that was like, I see things that are going on. I don't understand it. I'm going to continue to operate. And then at the end of the day, what you're saying about, like, Ezra and fucking Ahsoka being alive and all that other stuff, I really, as we sit here right now, on May the 4th, 2020, our 3-year anniversary of the fucking podcast, what I'm saying is, I don't need any, like, the Mandalorian stuff I welcome because of the nature of its content and how good it is. But as far as the Skywalker saga, like, now the book is closed.
Yeah.
Closing of books and noise. Done. I'm good. Let me focus on Rise. Or whatever comes, like, for us in our world, like, for, for podcasting purposes, whatever comes next. But I am, from a canonic standpoint, when The Mandalorian comes out, I'm going to fucking enjoy the shit out of it because I'm really curious as to where that storyline is going. But even the Mandalorian right now, I'm enjoying it outside of the fucking Skywalker timeline.
Sure, yeah.
You know, until they decide they're going to bring some of that into there, which I hope they don't. I really don't. They've managed to do it, go this far without doing that.
Yeah.
If you are on Disney Plus, I highly recommend you watch the Mandalorian special.
Yeah, the making of or whatever.
The documentary, whatever the fuck it is.
It's like an 8-part series.
Yeah, if you're not into Bryce Howard, you're going to be into Bryce Howard at the end of it. I'm just saying.
I'd like to be into Bryce Howard.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, you would be. You're probably too short though.
Oh, come on.
Aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?
Not where it counts.
Yeah. You walk around like a fucking kickstand. Like, whoop.
Hey, you know.
Right. Anyway, let's move away from that. There's a lot of fucking shit we can talk about still from there.
And
circles.
Maybe we can kind of pick this discussion up next week. I have some ideas. We don't have a set topic for next week for episode 149. Obviously, episode 150 is going to be the listener-focused episode. We're going to have call-ins. Anybody who wants a spot, reach out to us, preferably over the private Facebook group, the All Things Star Wars Sidebar Cantina. Get on there. Let us know. I know we've had a few people say, hey, I want a spot. We're going to pick a date soon. We're just going to pick a day and be like, this is the day that we're doing episode 150. If you want to be on the show, you have to be available at some point, during these hours on this day.
So I know some of our European listeners, it's pretty late, so they're hanging on for dear life right now.
Yeah.
And they're asking, like, Julius and then Ivo G, thank you for listening from Bulgaria and from the Netherlands and all those places. Next week is next week.
Yeah, I have some ideas for next week, but
we haven't figured out yet.
We'll flesh that out.
For the 150th, though, it's going to be about, to me, I think it should be about the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So it's all about call-ins and everything else. There's not going to be a set topic.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be like in interviews, too. Like, we're going to bring listeners in, and we're going to, like, run them through the ringer. Like, we have some typical questions that we always ask guests that we have on. We're going to ask some of those. People who've been on before, we'll switch it up a little bit.
So next week we will have a date for the 150th.
Yes.
Probably before next week, honestly.
Yeah,
I think
the sooner we can set that, the better.
And you can reach us via, like, not everybody's on Facebook. Yep. And I get that. I totally respect that. Facebook is not a requirement. It just happens to be easy for us to do with the fucking Cantina.
Yeah.
But reach out to us via the Cantina. You can reach out to us via Instagram, like direct message us through Instagram. I know our boy Queso, he fucking reach out to us all the time via Instagram.
Oh yeah, he's always sending us links and whatever.
And Brady and those guys are doing that. So reach out to us. All things Star Wars pod @gmail.com is our email address.
Yep.
I'll make sure Jason is looking at the email address so we can see it. Can see that.
And we're All Things Star Wars Pod on Instagram.
Yep. All Things Star Wars Pod. And if you find us like Darth Roscom or Philly Dave 75 on Instagram and you direct message us about the podcast, I'm not going to ignore it because you're on my private feed. I don't give a shit. I take all comers. So that's what she said.
Yeah.
So yeah, go on our social media, find out some sort of way. There's going to be some. Obviously, we can't get fucking hundreds of people on that night, but we're going to figure out from a technology standpoint. We tried some stuff earlier today from the technology. We're limited in what we actually had present. So next week we anticipate doing some testing.
Yes.
So we'll be able to get some more people involved in the StreamYard type cast that you saw when I was doing the remote. So we're going to enable that and have some more stuff for whatever our topic is next week. And Jason has something. And I'm here to tell you right now, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. We're doing it live.
We are doing it live.
We're doing it live. And kudos to the escape pod, because we kind of strung the escape pod along like we're going to do something tonight. And unfortunately, Jason and I were just never able to fucking have a conversation about it. So that's why we didn't have the escape pod on tonight. It's entirely on us. Sorry, guys. Don't point at me. But I think that we're at a point in our Star Wars lore and everything that we're looking forward to. Mm-hmm. Where I think we should be making a commitment to some Star Wars content.
I don't like commitments
for the 150th and beyond.
Okay.
And I personally, here we are on May the 4th, mm-hmm. celebrating so much Star Wars content mm-hmm. that I think that we should be dedicating this summer to Legends material.
I don't hate that idea. And it can be the Summer of Legends.
It could be the Summer of Legends. And I think I know people that listen to the podcast that would be interested in hearing us talk about certain things when it comes to Legends material. I think now's the time.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have... does that mean the All Things Star Wars podcast would be ignoring the canon that's coming out? Absolutely not.
No.
But I think that our next feature, as it were, post the 150th, should be Heir to the Empire.
Yeah.
Because that's where it begins. Let's face it, just to tee it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Heir to the Empire is the beginning of so much amazing Star Wars content.
Right, because, a lot of people like to point to that Splinter of the Mind's Eye as like the first, expanded universe, but it was never considered canon back then. And then, it really fucked up the storyline when you actually saw Empire and Jedi. Yeah. So Heir to the Empire was where the expanded universe really started and where they started like making things consistent.
Yep.
Like with Legends material when, like the early days of the Holocron Keepers and whatnot. So
right.
And that's really where it started. And they just so happened to, I think it was last year, it was the anniversary of Heir to the Empire, and they did a new audiobook with our good friend Mark Thompson doing the narration for Heir to the Empire. So...
And I happen to know that both you and I have Audible credits that we may or may not have already spent on Heir to the Empire, the anniversary edition.
Yep.
From the Mark Thompson read. So for those of you listeners right now that are wondering what the summer is going to be like, it's going to be the Summer of Legends.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that tagline, the Summer of Legends, because we're gonna start with Heir to the Empire, and then we'll plan out what the rest of it looks like. There is Jason and everyone else, you all know that there is so much Legends material.
Yes. There is a ton.
If you were a Star Wars nerd in the 90s into the early 2000s, and this was the content that you had. This is how you kept Star Wars alive for yourself. And I think there's a lot of us that are sad to see it go by the wayside
Oh,
we've talked about it a lot. We've talked about the Legends material, and me personally, I think that in a time when we're getting ready for new canon, and it's going to take us time to digest this new canon because it's in books and things like that.
Sure.
In the meantime, we have hundreds of volumes of materials.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's good.
It is very, very good. I will put the the Fate of the Jedi series. I would take the Pepsi challenge to any fucking Star Wars content that's out there, even what we just saw.
Yeah,
it's that fucking good. I never in my life, and I'm a prolific reader. I really, really enjoy reading, and when I was reading those books, like basically the last books in those series, when I was reading those books, I could not fucking wait until that fucking hardcover came out because I needed to get to the fucking next chapter.
Yeah.
I needed to get to the next fucking level. I mean, it was do not pass go. Do not collect $200. I needed it. I fucking needed it.
Yeah.
And I haven't read a book series yet that has come close to that. So I think for us, as we get ready for this new canon and whatever else comes down the road for Star Wars, in the next 3 years, potentially, our first steps, besides next week we'll come up with something.
Yeah, and again, I've got some ideas.
And then the 150th will come up, and the 150th is going to be all about you, the listener. And then I think Heir to the Empire.
Yeah,
I think
that'd be great.
I think it's a great place to start.
Yep. And man, just trying to go back and think of where I was. It was high school, man.
Yeah.
I think it was like sophomore year of high school when I read that. Yeah, so much we could get into.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to cover some Legends material because this is the All Things Star Wars podcast, and we've been blessed with, by the maker for being able to relish in so much canon. And no more, like, legitimately, like, we've been talking, Jason and I have been talking about this for a minute, but no more than today when I watched that fucking last episode of the Clone Wars, I physically felt the book close. Yeah. I'm like, I'm really willing to move on to the next thing now.
Yeah.
Because I feel fulfilled.
And, even from the inception of this podcast, we've said from the very beginning, we will not shy away from Legends material. If we feel like there's something we want to talk about that's Legends that we know is no longer canon, we're still going to do it.
Fuck it.
And I think that's kind of where we're going with this. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And again, it's not going to be, we're not going to go like fucking chronological here. We're not going to be like, all right, first we'll do Heir to the Empire, then we'll do Dark Force Rising, and no. There's way too much.
There is too much.
Fucking do that.
We could be doing that for the next fucking 2 years.
Yeah, that would take 20 summers, not one summer, to get through.
Man, some of those, like, I don't even want to get into it, but like there was a point when I was getting into these book series where I'm like, fuck, there's 22 books.
Yeah, like the Vong Invasion.
Yeah.
Like the New Jedi Order. So many books. But it was all good.
It was all really good.
Really, really good.
It was all really, really good. So we're gonna go there, kids.
Yeah.
We're gonna go there. And it's gonna be fucking great.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about what's coming out in the news and everything else, and we'll talk about what StarWars.com, by the way, reports.
Yeah.
Not anybody else.
Yeah.
Not we got this fucking smothered. Like what's the fucking Waffle House smothered covered
and oh god, what was the other one?
I don't know.
It's good though.
I'm not drunk enough to fucking make my Waffle House order apparently.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna close this one up because we've been going for 3 hours almost.
Woohoo!
So thank you everybody for watching in the YouTube. Thank you everybody to all the audio listeners out there. We know these are strange times. Thanks for sticking with us.
Thank you so much for 3 years of chilling with us, talking about fucking a bunch of nonsense, and then a good amount of Star Wars. We talked about a lot of Star Wars tonight, which I'm impressed with, and I'm glad we did. And especially thanking the international listeners that stayed up late to fucking hang with us here,
guys,
and participate in the chat. We love it. Please reach out to us. We want to hear from you. We will have next week. We will have 150th episode details that will fulfill your needs.
Yes.
Hopefully. Because
as long as your standards are low,
yes,
then yes.
Right. Because we obviously don't do it live every fucking time.
Yep. So, all right, that's it. We will see
next
you guys.
episode, Julius.
We will see you guys next week, and until then, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you, and with all of you. Okay, now what do I click?
2 hours and 55 minutes.
Hoo doggy.
It's gonna be a big file.
Indeed. Wow, it's 2 a.m. in the Netherlands. Very good.
That is dedication.
That is dedication.
Thank you.
I can't begin to thank you enough for and Julius in particular for bringing up some very, very good talking points. I'm sorry we didn't get to all of them.
Yeah, because I mean
it's really tough to keep up with the chat.
Yeah, because it becomes distracting too if you listen to the audio version of the podcast, and we're just sitting there just like getting off on these tangents because we're paying attention to the chat. The audio listeners are like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
So, and I see we finally got Tom in the chat.
Yeah, there you go.
Hope you guys are doing well in Idaho.
Yeah, it sounds like he's officially going back to work on May 16th. So good. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm sure you would have preferred it be sooner, but
yeah.
I mean,
thank you, Scott. Thank you, Julius. Thank you, Ivo.
Luna Girl.
And Lunar Girl. Hey, Lunar Girl, I thought you were going to be out for most of this episode with Padawan shit. So I'm glad to see you hanging out there. We did not plug Podbelly at the end.
I think we gave him a big enough plug at the beginning.
We did. I honestly, if you guys are still interested in the Podbelly thing, podbelly.com/shop. Put
the promo code Kevin the Pig.
Kevin. Oh, fuck. Hang on. It is Kevin the Pig. Yep, Kevin the Pig.
So I was
used
right.
as your discount code. And yes, Jason was right, even though he didn't pay attention to the Podbelly fucking stream.
Oh yeah, I know I did until I saw it in the notes. I'm like, what the fuck is this free sticker giveaway?
Yes, I should actually put in for the free sticker giveaway.
Yes, and anybody who does that, make sure you mention if there's any place to leave comments. All Things Star Wars.
Yes.
Sent me. They are the best podcast on your network.
I swear to God, if Brent doesn't fucking give us some sort of fucking credit for pimping Kevin out, then words will be said.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck else am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, they're the Sofa King guys. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, they are pretty good though.
Yeah, whatever. Riding on fucking Joe Rogan's dick. Yeah, I feel like I've been listening to them for a long fucking time.
All right.
I was listening to the fucking Sofa King guys probably before I started listening to the fucking anything you were doing.
Okay.
I was listening to Sofa King guys before you were doing the Project VCR podcast.
Okay. That would make sense.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
And fuck those guys.
Oh,
we're number one.
Not really.
Hey, as long as we fucking drive some traffic to your site, then come on, give us a fucking bone, man.
Yeah.
Give us a piece of bacon, something.
Mm-hmm.
More than a fucking, a free sticker, which I love stickers. I was gonna do a whole like sticker thing because I have like stickers all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
But I decided to read the script. Fuck me, right?
You did a good job though.
All right. Thank you. Anyway. So Bronco came in late, so limited on data till the message details and voucher stuff. So the 150th show, we're gonna come up with date and time.
Yep, and it's basically gonna be this is when we're doing this. If you can't spare whatever we're gonna do, 15-20 minute blocks per listener.
Yeah.
If you can't make it in this time, sorry. Maybe for episode 200.
Right.
But because if we try to accommodate for every individual person, it's just going to be a fucking
it's going to be tough. And I anticipate it being on a Sunday.
That would make sense, though. Yeah. I know Tom's got a lot of church activities on Sundays.
So Sunday evening, like 1700 Eastern Daylight Time.
I mean, I think honestly we should start earlier in the day, and we need to do
Perhaps.
it in chunks. It's not going to be my vision of this is not one single episode where we record straight. It's going to be we do one stream where it's like say the Bronco Fit interview, right? We bring him on, we talk to him, then we stop that one, start a new stream. Like Lunar Girl comes in, we talk to her for a few minutes. Then the ATSW Escape Pod people will come in, talk to them for a few minutes. Scott or whoever. I know Shotgun Mark mentioned he wants a spot on the show.
Yeah.
So
And Big Swede wants to be on.
yeah. So I mean, we just do it in small chunks. But this way, I can like individually rip the audio from each one of those and then just put it together into one show. So
Tom, is Sunday evening going to work for you?
and Isaac can be in there too if he wants.
Yeah. Isaac Ding is
He's sad and heartbroken.
He is sad and heartbroken.
We're not excluding you. I was just using those people as an example.
Yeah, this is not an all encompassing list. We've been drinking for 3 hours, so give us a break. We will try to get. Look, we're gonna the way that we're gonna have the technology set up is we're gonna have our. It should be through StreamYard.
Yep.
We're gonna do it in house with StreamYard.
It'll be very easy.
Yeah.
StreamYard's very user friendly, very easy.
We'll send you a link, and I'm going to church till Corona is over. So Sunday evening should be okay, is what I'm getting with that. So
Okay.
we'll plan on that. We'll have timing out there, and we'll start getting blocks, and we'll try and be organized. I mean, honestly, come
Emphasis on try.
on. We are going to try. It won't be a fucking UTA weekend, so there shouldn't be any
Yeah,
reason.
thank
for
God.
that.
I'm not gonna have another one of those for
And
6 weeks.
it's going to be a big fucking deal. So, more details to follow. Obviously, Jason's got a plan for the next episode. I have no idea what those plans are.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I was thinking was, what do you think about revisiting the episode where Ahsoka and Vader
And Rebels?
in Rebels?
Love it.
Yeah,
Totally love it.
because I really want to go back and rewatch that now, and I think Maul's involved in that episode.
I
too, if
wanted.
remember correctly.
I wanted to immediately watch that. I ended up getting rolled up in some work shit as I was sitting on my desk. I went down to my computer and fucking.
Yeah, I think what we could do is we could
Actually, you know what I ended up doing? I watched the fucking the Mandalorian thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe
Instead.
that's what we could. Maybe we could talk about the Mandalorian thing, revisit that episode of Rebels, and then if we have time, like let's kind of lay out more of a roadmap for the post 150 content, like stuff that we're
maybe
thinking about.
Maybe we could sell slots and then fucking
There are a lot of slots in Vegas.
No, I'm thinking slightly. I don't know. We'll come up with something. Just not a good idea. What do you need to download? Tom, you don't need to download anything. You
It's
just need
all
to have,
browser based.
Yep, it's all based on a browser, so you can even do it from your phone. Although I don't recommend it.
Yeah, it can kind of sound like shit if you do it from your phone.
Yeah,
But
so-
really, it's more dependent on your internet connection. Like, if you have a good internet connection, it's very user friendly from phone, computer, as long as you have it.
So Tom, I know your brother had a really solid internet connection when we did a test, a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Maybe you hang out at his house, use his internet. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But a link will be sent. If I can click on the link, it's going to bring you right into the StreamYard.
Yeah, it'll just say what mic and what camera do you want to use.
Yep.
Boom, you're in.
Yeah, and it's going to be it's better than Skype. It's way more user friendly than Skype, and honestly, the quality is better. So, Julius, do you guys have a Discord? We do have a Discord. We haven't used it in.
we haven't used it, so I wouldn't rely on that.
We haven't used it in a hot minute. That's when we were playing a lot of Battlefront. We were on Discord. Battlefront 2, because it's been so unplayable, we haven't really used it.
Yeah. Oh, I saw something today. Like some petition that people are putting out to save Battlefront 2, which I don't know what that means. Did they mention that they were shutting it down, or I don't know, but
I don't know. There's some fucking there's a petition for everything out there. Nobody fucking cares. Also read Republic Commando. One of the things that I saw, it was I think in the chat last week, was talking about some fucking dark. I downloaded it to my phone. Where the fuck's my phone?
I don't know.
Hang on. What is this? Damn. Wednesday. The Matrix. The fucking our escape pod brothers doing the Matrix. You motherfuckers! I know more about the Matrix than any one of you motherfuckers. Oh my god. Oh, I should totally.
I really like the first one.
Well, look what they did for the first one. I am a proponent of the entirety of this series. The first one's obviously the best one, but I also read the books.
Wow.
Which were better. God. So many. Yeah, I'm not even going to say that out loud. What was I doing? What was I doing on my phone?
I have no fucking clue.
Hang on. Holy shit.
What?
In fucking Vickers' office, it's 100 degrees. Like, the heat is blowing in the fucking squadron right now.
Like, the heat is actually on.
The
like
heat is on. The
Wow.
heat is on.
Rip Glenn Fry.
Yeah. Nick's missing the show because he's doing the flagpole. Sorry, Nick. What was I looking up? Somebody help me out. What was I looking up?
I have no idea.
Am I excited for part 4 of The Matrix? No.
Oh, that's right. They are making a new one.
Yeah. No,
Minus
I'm not.
Lawrence Fishburne, right?
You know why I'm not? Because fucking Trinity, she was written hard and put away wet, man. Like Trinity was one of the fucking hottest broads ever. Like when The Matrix came out, tight leather, fucking ass like pow, titties like blam. But yeah, no, fucking. Unless they do some really good fucking CGI editing, like I've seen some of the scenes where, like, I mean, obviously fucking Keanu Reeves looks like Keanu Reeves from fucking, like, he's ageless. The motherfucker is ageless.
Yeah.
And like he's on this fucking motorcycle with I had 4 kids and fucking just came back from fucking grocery store Trinity. Like, I'm like, dude. Like, this is not...
Can we take a sports sidebar real quick?
Yeah.
You and I haven't talked about the draft. What?
Book. Thank you, Lunar.
What are your thoughts on your boys drafting a QB pretty early on?
I'm thinking that was actually pretty surprising and really not a good idea.
Okay.
I think it was a complete waste of a fucking draft, like, first-round draft pick. I mean... Listen.
I mean, you're the Wentz apologist, man. You're the one who's been on his nuts for
Listen,
years.
I am firmly on the Wentz wagon. And still on the Wentz wagon. I think much like Andy Reid, Doug Peterson needs a fucking project. Like, I don't know if you can think back to when the Eagles had Mike Vick, right?
Oh,
Mike Vick was coming off of the fucking all the dog shit and all this stuff, and Andy Reid gave him a chance, right, as a backup.
They signed him for pennies because he couldn't get a job making the money he wanted to.
They signed him as a backup. He ends up coming in and fucking. He was Michael Vick. I mean, he was a first-round draft pick. For fuck's sake. I mean,
right? He's very athletic.
Yeah,
very athletic guy.
And he was a great passing quarterback out of the pocket because it was short. I could give you fucking volumes about the X's and O's for why Mike Vick was successful that fucking season. But the reality is that Andy Reid is like that whole coaching tree for Mike Holmgren to Andy Reid to fucking Doug Peterson. The reality is they need a fucking project quarterback. Wentz is not necessarily a project quarterback. I think they fixed what's broken with Wentz.
Right.
And at this point, it's just a matter of fucking keeping him upright. And like, all right, if you're gonna come out of the pocket, it's gonna be under your own terms as opposed to being chased.
Right.
So I think that's a big part of it. Getting another quarterback to me is, I think, if you got Jalen Hurts in the fucking 3rd round or even the 2nd round, I go like, yeah, all right, I get it. We don't necessarily have a good backup. Like our backup was fucking injured almost all of last season. We fucking had to go out and hire a 40-plus-year-old guy to come in as backup, who ends up having to come in for a fucking playoff game, and he played his ass off.
Oh, sure.
He did. He put everything out on the fucking field.
Yeah.
And so much so that he fucking was injured. But that's great for that fucking season, but that's not what you build a team around. So if you're going to have a prodigy, right? If you're going to have somebody like that's going to come in and say, all right, this is a right-handed quarterback. We're going to come in. You're going to work under the system, and you're going to work under an athletic guy. Wentz has way more arm talent than fucking Jalen Hurts does. What Jalen Hurts has more of is fucking ability outside the pocket.
Right.
Because he's faster. He's generally faster. Like, he makes cuts faster and shit like that. Like, if you really, really break it down from a football perspective.
Sure.
Jalen Hurts has a lot of intangibles that Wentz necessarily doesn't have. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that Jalen Hurts has seen much better. Like, well, Wentz is a 4-year fucking, like, this is his 4th year in the league.
Yeah.
So he's seen these guys. He's played at the NFL level. So to think where Wentz came from is almost irrelevant now. But Jalen Hurts came from the Big Ten. He was in the Big 12. Like, he played against the most talented competition that he's going to have. So his base level is going to be just a little bit higher than Wentz's was.
Oh, sure.
So I don't mind the pick. I just think it went too high. Now, do I think Hurts was going to be available in the second round? No, I don't. I don't think at all. I think somebody was going to pick him up. Is he a first-round talent? No, I don't think he's a first-round talent.
Yeah.
But do I think they wasted the pick? Yes. Yes, I do.
So, I mean, do you think this basically says that Wentz is not their guy for the future?
I don't. I mean, I being on a Wentz wagon notwithstanding, I believe that I think what this does is it firms up, like, here's your backup. Okay? We're going to have a backup that if you come out, we're going to have a backup that's going to be able to run a very, very similar playbook, like an NFL-style playbook, but also is going to be able to make things happen with his feet.
So ultimately what you're saying is not necessarily like the future, but they don't trust Wentz's health enough to
I wouldn't even say that.
pick lower.
I genuinely believe that this was the Eagles organization saying, we need Peterson needs a project. We need a backup. And the ageless fucking talent that might be out there, we can't rely on that. We if we're going to bring somebody in, think about it this way. Like, think you're, as a San Fran guy, think Joe Montana, Steve Young, right? Steve Young being a left-handed guy, Montana obviously is not.
And Steve Young was more mobile. He was
right.
Quick
It's
and
different styles, but you're in an offense that, in the West Coast offense, if you're actually like running West Coast offense, understand its eccentricities and understand how to read a defense, then you're going to be able to execute it well, which is something that Steve Young was able to do. He was able to come in into the West Coast offense and be able to execute it because he was able to use his natural ability. Whereas Montana in later years was more reliant on what people were doing around him.
right.
So I think in a traditional sense in the NFL, if you say, okay, we're gonna draft a kid that's gonna probably spend 2-3 years as a fucking backup, right? Jalen Hurts was never going to be like a first round talent. So the fact that goes, like, it's just a small blip, but doesn't really break anybody's fucking real radar. If Jalen Hurts suddenly has to come into a game and fucking excels, completely different fucking conversation.
Right.
But if you develop Jalen Hurts as a backup for a couple of years and now he's starting to compete for a starting job, then he's trade bait. Then you go and you get something like, okay, well, Wentz is still a guy, but we're going to get something else. Because I truly believe that Jeffrey Lurie looks at Carson Wentz as... Jeffrey Lurie wants Carson Wentz to be his quarterback to the next Super Bowl.
Sure.
He sees him as this fucking kid. This kid's face is like this is the face of my franchise, and this is what I want to take me to the next Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts is the guy that's like, okay, if I need to bring in a backup, this guy has intangibles that would make him successful as a backup, not necessarily a guy running a fucking West Coast offense.
Well, the problem is we both know the way Philly fans are, and as soon as Wentz has like 2 bad games in a row, they're all going to be calling for fucking Hurts to come in.
You know,
you know it's going to happen.
You know, you say that. I think the scuttlebutt in Philly right now really, like, there was an initial, like, the meter moved on the draft. But after that, I don't think anybody's really worried about Wentz losing his job to Jalen Hurts, even in the Philly media. And I understand what you're saying, like, as somebody who's obviously grown up in this environment. But Jalen Hurts is not that fucking talented. He's not that guy. Right. He's not a fucking guy that, like, he's not a Jared Goff. It's not like you went out and said, like, oh, let me get Jared Goff to be behind Carson Wentz. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Because then you're looking at, you just drafted a starting quarterback. I don't think anybody thought Jalen Hurts was going to be a starting quarterback.
Well, at the same time, you're asking the Philadelphia fans to be reasonable. And
Philadelphia fans are very, their football IQ is higher than most. However, their heart tends to fucking pull them in a certain way.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying all you're doing is you're just creating this distracting situation at this point.
The distraction was, for Philadelphia fans, myself included, we looked at wide receiver. Well, we picked up Hurts in the second round. I'm sorry. So, like, in the first round, we picked up a kid that wasn't CB Lamb.
Yeah, because
we picked up a kid from, I think it was from TCU.
Yeah, because a lot of people were drafting receivers early.
Yeah,
and
receivers did go early,
and the Niners picked a receiver like right before or right after you.
Yeah, and
then we traded you a receiver during the draft as well.
Yeah, we got Marquise Godwin.
Yeah,
who's I think is going to be a really good ad.
Yeah,
as far as weapons for Carson Wentz. And we drafted, I'm pretty sure he was from TCU. This wide receiver who again wasn't CB Lamb, or CB Lamb went to Dallas, and then so that left us, Jefferson was on the board, and Jefferson was the next best talent according to everybody. And we went with this other kid. And Dave Martin's investigative journalism, Jefferson's a head case. And I don't think they wanted him in the locker room.
Okay. And that makes sense. There's a lot that goes a long way. I mean, you've seen the way toxic personalities can unravel a football team.
And the kid had a long history of being a kind of a nut job.
Right.
So I can see why going with somebody that was more of who they ended up drafting a wide receiver was closer to a Deshaun Jackson than an Alshon Jeffrey. Mm-hmm. Like, you're talking about a kid who's like 5'10", a lot of speed. So you're talking about a downfield threat, which, listen, say anything you wanted about the Eagles season last year. If Deshaun Jackson does not go out in that first game of the season, the playoff picture is entirely different.
I agree.
Deshaun Jackson had the ability to take the top off of almost any defense in the league. And when we lost that ability, based on the talent that we had at the time, you couldn't replicate that. So what they did was they went into this almost like prevent offense, where it was like, all right, we're going to keep everything inside. We're going to rely on Carson to fucking move around. And to all those people that talk about Carson Wentz and their fucking on his his injury, like Chuck Brinzer fucking gives me a hard time about fucking Wentz and being injured and all that stuff. And honestly, he played every fucking game.
Yeah.
Up until the last fucking game, where a dirty hit by a fucking Seahawks shitbag gave him a concussion and took him out of the fucking game.
Yeah.
That's what took him out of the playoff game. It was a dirty hit.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree.
And everybody who watched that fucking game knows. And obviously, you're going to agree with me because you're a Niners fan, because fuck Seattle.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm going to be that way. But to me, that was like that. Fucking, it was not a good hit. Now that hit happens. Does the penalty do anything to make them win that game? No, absolutely not. Yeah. But you took the guy, and now you're putting a 40-year-old in the fucking backfield to try and win a playoff game, and then that guy was not Nick Foles.
No.
So I get it. It's a circumstantial thing. And that's the one part that Philly fans really need to fucking get over themselves with, is the whole Nick Foles thing. We were so fucking lucky to win that goddamn Super Bowl. Everything just fell in the right place. Nick Foles just happened to have he had a couple warm-up games. Like, because people forget, the last game that fucking Nick Foles played before the playoffs was a fucking disaster. It was absolute fucking shit show.
Yeah, I do remember that too.
And it was like, holy fuck, this is the guy? This is the guy that's going to fucking take us to the playoffs? And we get into the playoffs, and they play the Vikings and fucking destroy them. Destroy them. So, I think a lot of football, when it gets to January, is about luck. Sometimes you just have to, sometimes it's better be lucky than good. And if the Eagles at the time, they got Nick Foles a couple warm-up games, he gets into the fucking Super Bowl, and the rest is history. 41-33, as I just saw somebody's fucking license plate today. And I fucking love it.
That's good.
But yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of Philly fans that we all scratched our head at that fucking pick.
Yeah.
For a quarterback. And when we need wide receiver, we need somebody at safety, we need somebody at corner, we need somebody at linebacker. People don't realize that fucking linebacker is one of our weak positions right now.
Yeah. And
we made some draft picks, but none of those guys I don't think are fucking, they're not Pro Bowl level talents. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, at least you guys didn't pull a Packers. Holy shit. I think the entire world was shocked by that move.
Well, the Packers are trying to prove something.
Much like I think the Patriots are trying to prove. Like, I think, Bill Belichick specifically.
Yeah, Belichick specifically.
Like, he's got this chip on his shoulder where I think he's desperate to prove that he can win without Brady.
I want so badly for Brady to go to the fucking Brady to go to the playoffs and the Patriots to not.
So that's what you'd rather see. You'd rather it be Brady be the success without Belichick than vice versa.
Yes, Belichick is fucking evil. Belichick is the fucking Yoda to this whole fucking, Belichick's the one that commits the fucking war crimes.
Wow.
To me.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, like when you're a coach, here's your game plan and you go to execute your fucking game plan, right? But you still need the players to go out there and fucking execute it. When you've got like a guy like Tom Brady and you just happen to put a system together that Tom Brady can execute despite his fucking Michigan education, like you do that and it's like, okay, like, all right, this fucking works. This guy gets it. Like, cause look at Brady's arm talent. Measure Brady's arm talent against a lot of people's, and it's not there.
Right.
He hit, the dinks and dunks and everything else. Brady is a very, very good field general, but he's not a great arm talent. Just is what it is. So, Belichick, without Brady's fucking ability to manage that offense over all these years, what did Belichick do before he fucking got to the Patriots? What did he do with the Browns?
Oh, he was terrible.
Do you remember the fucking Browns?
Yeah, didn't he coach for the Jets and then the Browns, and they were disasters both times?
Fucking shit shows.
Yeah.
So, granted that you're going to get free agents that are going to go to New England because of their winning. Like, they're going to go to Bill Belichick, especially defensive. So, what I envision is if you're playing fantasy football, right? And spoiler alert, because this probably will hurt me in the league, right? But if you're looking at fantasy football, anything on a Patriots offense, I would ignore completely.
Yeah.
I think you're going to look at a Patriots team that's going to be much more defensive mindset.
Well, yeah, because Belichick's always been a defensive guy.
He always has been, and the Super Bowl winning teams always had really, really good. Like, look at the Mike Vrabels. Look at those guys. All the defensive mindsets are won them those Super Bowls.
Yep.
So you're going to see a Patriots team that if they go 10-6, it's going to be because of their defense, and you're going to see the offense fucking fall apart. And it's going to be because, like, if I'm coaching you for fucking so many years, and I can tell, like, there becomes a symbiotic relationship there that you can't avoid.
Yeah.
Like, and all the fucking hype that might come around you being a fucking coach and having all the Super Bowl wins and everything else. The reality is that if you don't have the talent to fucking execute your particular vision, you're not going to win.
Of course.
Not in the NFL. Now, Nick Saban in college, he gets away with it. He gets away with it because Alabama says, okay, I'm going to take in the SEC, in the South, I'm going to pull all these fucking kids in here. because they want to go to Alabama. They want to be coached by Nick Saban, and they want to get fucking drafted high, right? So that's what they do. And so now you have an extraordinary amount of talent for whatever you're fucking running against everybody else.
Right.
So, and even then, they don't win 100% of the time. They're losing to Clemson. They're losing to Auburn. So coaching only gets you but so far. If you don't have the talent there and you don't have a symbiotic relationship, you don't win football games. That's how football is.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what makes it great.
Yeah, and it's just very interesting now to see, because they were so successful for so many years, but you could see that rift building over the last few seasons, this Brady-Belichick thing. And now I think they're both so desperate to prove they can win without the other. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that Belichick has more to prove than Brady does.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like if somebody is going like, oh, Tom Brady's going to fucking take Tampa Bay to whatever, to a Super Bowl, I'd be like, you're fucking crazy, because they still have to play the games.
Right.
Like, Belichick can sit there and say, okay, I put in these game plans and I didn't have the talent around me to do it. He's got an out. Now, does he do that? No, probably not. He won't admit it to that. But the reality is, like, I don't have the people to make this fucking work.
Right.
Whereas Brady, like, he misses some throws, throws some interceptions. Like, he's going to get a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. He's going to get forced to fucking... we haven't seen Brady's ability to throw downfield because New England, that wasn't really part of their game.
Yeah, well, not in many years. I mean...
Not since Randy Moss.
Yeah, I was going to say that 2007, 2008 time frame where they were fucking lighting it up.
Dude,
with Randy
you know how
Moss
fucking long ago that was? Like,
2007,
Brady's going to get snapped in fucking half.
Oh, yeah, I have no doubt. Like, he's 40 fucking 2. Like, I don't care what this TB12 fucking...
when I go to get up out of this chair after this fucking podcast, I'm going to have a tough time of it. And I'm he's fucking 3 years younger than me.
And he's got 25-year-olds trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Like 11 25-year-olds gunning for him to try to break his fucking legs.
He's going to be here's my prediction. Here's Dave's bold prediction, right? Tom Brady is going to be in the fucking... They're going to have the Dream Skull fucking uniforms on, right? The old school fucking Tampa Bay Buck helmets and fucking the orange, ugly fucking uniforms. And somebody's going to come across and they're going to fucking take Tom Brady and they're going to snap his shit in half. They're gonna separate that motherfucker's head from his shoulders. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, his clavicle's going to be fucking separated like this. And then that's going to be the end of his career. That's going to be it. He's going to end his career in a fucking cream school uniform. You've heard it here first.
Yep. All right. We got to end the stream. It's 8:30. And, my bedtime is starting to get close. So, that was good, though. It's good being back in the studio.
It is good being back in the studio.
So, social distancing rules aside and whatnot.
Yeah, we're several feet. We're good.
We should have done this whole episode in math.
It would have sounded funny. It would have sounded like, oh, Batman. Oh.
I was born into it.
I was born into it, Batman.
Yeah. We got Harbaugh jokes going.
Jim Harbaugh, what a joke for an NFL coach.
Lunar Girl, Brady is the next Theismann. Ooh. If you mean about the leg snap, then maybe.
Yeah. No, what would be fucked up is Brady gets snapped. And then fucking comes back and he's in his mid fucking 40s. Like, he's like, oh, Tom Brady makes his comeback. And then they fucking tag him for HGH.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, fuck that dude.
Well, they hit...
Banging a goddamn supermodel who makes more money than you is only going to get you but so far into the fountain of youth, man.
Right.
Although, moving to Florida, like... This is a typical retired guy move, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, if you're in the fucking military and the last gig of your career will have you a paid move to fucking Florida, you take it. Yeah. And that's what this motherfucker did. Him and fucking Gronk, I guarantee you, if we were still doing regular TDYs down to fucking Tampa, we could be downtown fucking watching Gronk drink fucking a bunch of fucking rum out of a flip-flop.
Yep.
And just having a grand old fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Gronk is going to be pushing it up. Brady's fucking found his vacation home in Clearwater. And then that's it. He does one season. He's like, you know what? I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
Or he pulls a Favre and doesn't do any more fucking two-a-days for the rest of his fucking career.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No,
who the fuck said Jimmy Harbaugh is the best coach in college football? Oh, obviously the fucking escape pod. Obviously. Did you not hear my comment earlier?
Which we know that's Sulsky. That's got to be Sulsky.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely Solsky.
All right, we gotta end the stream. I gotta start getting ready for bed. It's actually dark out now, so
It is dark out now.
but
It's
yeah,
fine.
that was good. It was good being back. So thanks everybody again.
Word.
This was your bonus post episode
Yeah,
banter.
a lot of fucking football, which
Yeah.
I'm sure some of you were totally on board with.
Yeah, which I know we've gotten a couple of people who won in the fantasy league this next year. So more than the people that were in it last time.
Yeah,
so.
we got to get that figured out. Fucking,
It's all this wee shit, Commissioner.
Hey, I'll handle my shit. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's one aspect of this show that you are in charge of is the fucking fantasy football part. If I gotta post the fucking show and do all this other shit, then you're at least running the fantasy.
I will handle my business.
So, all right, guys, I'm ending the stream. You guys are the best. We love you.
We love you.
Have a good night.
Here's to 3 more years.
3 more years. 3 more years. 3 more years. Really, really.
Nice.